Yo, Malik, you ever imagine how far basketball could really take you? Like imagine you getting drafted to the NBA and hearing Adam Silver call your name.
With the first pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, Malik Mills.
Imagine your name being called in that starting lineup for that first time.
6'6" number 11, Malik Mills.
Imagine going against some of the best players in the NBA, night in and night out. Imagine going against some of the NBA legends that we grew up watching. Imagine if you actually got to play with one of the best players of all time. Imagine all the plane rides you got to take to get to your NBA games, the new cities, the states. Imagine all the crazy cars you can drive too with your NBA money. Imagine becoming a household name that the fans want to see. Imagine making the NBA playoffs, going deep. Imagine yourself in them big time games. Imagine the ball being in your hands to win or lose a big time game. And as the clock winds down, all eyes are on you. Yo, Malik. Malik. Hey, yo, Malik. Dang, wake up, dude. It's first day of senior year, you can't be late.
Whatever happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat? Or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. Or does it explode? Langston Hughes. My story starts here at Langston Hughes High School in Fairburn, Georgia. If I had 3 words to describe my school: crazy, chaotic, energetic. But don't get it twisted. With all the fun we have off the court, it's war when we step in between them lines. We may not be the best team in the nation. Shoot, we not even the best team in Georgia. But I'ma ride with my dogs no matter what. Stephon, he's a 3-star from Seattle who transferred here for his senior season. And Lawrence, he's a senior that committed to Howard. Down low, got my dog Pernell, aka Peasley Hall, from East Point. Bro's a little rough around the edges, but he a cool dude nonetheless, and he loves to rap. Just like his cousin Sergio, he used to go to our school back in the day. Y'all may know him.
Okay, do it for our school. Who that? Gold, black, and green. Langston, you know.
I swear he never wasted a moment to tell us Gunner was his cousin, but that's neither here nor there. Now in our center position, we got my boy Tanner Hill. And don't let the hair confuse you. My boy really gets down with business. And as for me, well, my name's Malik Mills. If you ask me right now, in my senior season, I feel like I'm the best player in the state. You could say that's a stretch. You could say I'm cocky, arrogant, but I'm confident. And while I came into my senior season ranked number 8, I'm here to prove everybody wrong. In this game in particular, we're going against Westlake, and they got 2 D1 recruits in Bryce Freeman and Justin Lewis, but that's really neither here nor there. Y'all came to see me ball out. In this game in particular, I went off. See, coming into my senior season, I had already verbally committed to Howard University, my first D1 offer, but I didn't really have too much offers to choose from until the summertime, which I got on the radar after playing AAU. Now coming into my senior season, I got more offers from Georgia State, Georgia Tech, Kennesaw State, but honestly, I'm thinking much bigger. See, my mom tells me to be loyal and stay with Howard, but in my mind, I want to go to the big schools, the SECs, the ACCs, the Big Tens, Auburns, Tennessees, Floridas. I want to do it major, and I feel like I'm a major player. And in this game against Westlake, I was hooping in front of a packed crowd. This game is so highly anticipated, we had to play it at State Farm Arena downtown in Atlanta in front of everybody. And if it's one thing I know, they call me Big Game Lee. I always step up when the lights are the brightest. And for those of y'all wondering what my measurables are, well, coming into my senior season, I hit a growth spurt. I now stand at 6'6", about 200 pounds. And I was always a little shorter than everybody on the team, so I always worked on my handle and my jump shot. And now that I'm a little bit taller, I feel like that makes me even more dangerous on the court. Not to mention my motor. And when you combine all of that together, what do you get? Well, you get a 43-point, 12 assist, and 11-point triple-double against Westlake. In this game in particular, skyrocketed me up in the rankings. As good as this performance was, there may have been somebody out there in Georgia doing it way better than me. In the class of 2024, in the state of Georgia, The number one player was clear. It was Ace Bailey and McKeechern. See, my boy was about 6'8", 6'9", and was head tapping. Not to mention his motor never turned off. And he had a nice jumper too. But the wise man told me, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And we played McKeechern on January 19th, 2024. And this was a huge deal for me. Peep my thinking. If I have a great game against the number 2 player in the nation, that's only going to skyrocket my rankings even more. So I locked in and dialed in. I told the coach, let me have this tonight. He say less. I strip Ace Bailey on this possession right here and take it up the court. I already mentioned my handles. I hit Ace Bailey with a right to left quick, pull up mid-range fading. When I pulled up for this right here and cashed it, I already knew what type of night it was going to be. Coming into this game, the updated rankings had me number 32 in the nation, but still number 3 in the state. And while it was a long shot, I knew I had a chance to be the number 1 player in the state, maybe if I had a good game against Ace, but see, he wasn't going for none of that. He didn't care about getting no dimes. All he cared about was getting that ball in the basket, and I respect it. See, coming into this game, I got even more offers from Georgia Tech, Florida State, and NC State. But I was still verbally committed to Howard, and that was still looming over my head, but in my mind, I'm going for it all. And tonight, your boy was hooping. With the scouts in attendance, I tried my best to sit down on Ace and lock him up whenever I had the chance to. In that particular possession, it worked. Not everyone worked out the same, but what did work is my jump shot. One thing I'm putting on film is my ability to go coast to coast. Right here, I grabbed the rebound, push it up court, and attack the lane, finish with my off hand, which is my right hand, and get the and one. And in the first half of this game, I can't lie, I didn't have too many assists. I really wasn't looking to pass the ball too much when I had it in my hand. I felt like I could cook anybody on their team. But as much as I was scoring with ease, something clicked in my head. If I really want to get the scouts' attention, I got to sit down on defense and get some assists. That's going to really change it up. If not, this man Ace can go band for band with me on the scoring column. Right here, I hit Ace with a nasty step back from mid-range and bucket. But in the second half, like I told y'all, I was more focused on getting assists. So I found my guy Tanner in the lane and get him going. One thing about me I had to realize too, is the more I ball out and get my teammates involved, the scouts are already here to see me. I could be helping them get scholarships too. And right here in transition, instead of attacking the lane looking for my own shot, I waited patiently for my boy Tanner to get back into play and get him an easy bucket. Like I said, this man Ace was not stopping for anybody. He had over 35 points on the night, right around his average for real in the season. And as for me, well, you know, I was going to cook regardless, but I had to make sure it was more than scoring. I had to make sure it was more than just dribble pull-ups. I wanted to get backdoor cuts, find easy ways to score. Just like this man Ace. See, he about 6'9", bro. It was nothing much you could do on the boards when he wanted to get one. But as for me, I'm attacking that lane every time with bad intentions. And right here to clap it off, I got an and one. Falling to the ground. I don't even know how I made this for real, but it's just been that kind of night. It's just been that kind of season. And starting from the bottom, I really self-made myself and pushed myself all the way to the top. I finished the night with 39 points, 7 assists, and 13 rebounds. And for my senior season, it eventually came to a close. While we didn't win state, just know them averages pretty much stayed around the same. I averaged about 30 points, 8 assists, and 10 rebounds all season. And at the end, I finished number 19 in the nation and 2nd in the state. Really not with too much more I can ask for, but as far as my commitment, I had all kind of offers on the table from the same schools I was dreaming of. It was time to make a decision. Do I decommit from Howard and go to one of the big time schools, or do I listen to my mom and stay loyal? Much to everybody's surprise around the nation, I stayed loyal and listened to my mom. I committed to Howard University officially on March 21st after the season, and I finished as a 5-star recruit, making me the first such in Howard history. But I'm not alone. See, we got a dog in Blake Harper out of DC, and already on his team was Bryce Harris, a senior, looking to provide some leadership and some buckets. And I told y'all, my guy Lawrence was the only reason I even committed to Howard in the first place. Me and him is basically inseparable. In my dreams, both me and him make the league. That's a long way to go. And down low, we got another freshman named Julian Johnson, this kid from Charlotte. He had a similar story to me. Howard was his first D1 offer, and he took it. Smart man. In our first game of the season, we were playing against Memphis, who had PJ Haggerty, one of the best scorers in the nation. And a lot of people already believe that he will be an All-American this season. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm trying to be an All-American too. And at the beginning of the season, I was ranked the number 26 prospect heading into the 2025 NBA draft. And while everybody assumed I'll be one and done, honestly, My goal is to make Howard one of the best and premier teams in the nation, and it starts on opening night. And out the gate, we were getting bodied, I can't lie. Down low, the size was a clear problem, but where we will be able to assert dominance is our size in the backcourt. See, Blake was about 6'6", 6'7", so am I. With both our size and ability, eventually, we knew we would have the upper hand. I was going to get my first points from the free throw line as I attacked the basket and got fouled. Kind of a surreal moment. Finally, in college, playing for Howard, the team I originally committed to before I even hit my growth spurt. But it's go time now. After knocking down both of my free throws, I knew what I had to do tonight. Make a statement. On a fast break, I pushed the ball up the court to give myself some easy assists. And in the half court, I found my confidence pulling from three early. See, Memphis was ranked, so a win like this would be huge. But PJ Hackety wasn't going easy, so I knew we was going to have to keep fighting. In the first half, Memphis was showing us a little bit of levels, as Dane Danger was putting Blake in the post and going to easy work. While I had a couple of shots go, it was a little bit of a struggle in the first half for me. You can call it rust or whatever you want to call it. But Blake, this man kept us in the game all first half, and he had it rolling. Between me and him, I knew we would get it figured out. So the second half came, and I dialed it in even more. And right here, I called for the pick and roll, and this is how it'll go. Julian set the pick, and I'ma still roll. And I finished with my offhand on the left side. I don't know why I did that. Maybe to be flashy. And I had Tyrese Hunter on me, so I called for another screen, finished with the scoop layup with the left hand. See, I realized my goal this season. It's not good enough for me just to be able to make the NBA draft, be a prospect. I'm trying to be that guy. On this play right here, it was prom night. I asked PJ Hackety out to a dance. I hit him with a series of moves, and I finished with the right to left crossover, which got him leaning, and I finished it at the rim in style. I'm telling y'all, I feel like I'm really like that. You know when you hooping and it feels like you dancing, you just got that kind of rhythm? That's what it felt like tonight. See, between me, Blake, and the rest of my guys, we ended up coming back in this game, and we will beat Memphis, start our season off with an actual ranked win for Howard. A huge deal. I finished with 26, 8, and 9, almost a triple-double. And while it's early, with me and Blake in the backcourt, I like our chances against anybody. Well, our hardest game of the season came November 24th, about 4 games into the season. And one thing I forgot to mention, when the news came that I was committing to Howard, our coaching staff and our AD made sure we got a hard schedule non-conference. And that meant facing Trey Johnson and the Texas Longhorns. Texas wasn't really projected to be that good this season, but Trey Johnson, well, that man was rated number 6 on prospect rankings. Not to mention they had a big center named Anthony Crawford, who was rising up the rankings as well, higher than me. I was rated number 21 coming into this game. For my guy Julian, it was going to be a long night. See, my guy Julian was only about 6'8", 6'9". Crawford stood about 7 foot. So, what did that mean to me? I was going to play my game regardless. And one thing I forgot to mention is I ran the point for my team. See, Howard, they wanted me to have the ball in my hands primarily, and that was music to my ears. Another reason why I decided to stay loyal. That wasn't guaranteed at none of the big schools, but here, they let me do my thing, and that included pulling up whenever I needed to, or dictating how we're going to run the offense. It was a mostly pick and roll style. With Julian setting good screens, it just freed me up to get buckets, something I know how to do naturally. And in this game in particular, it was close, but see, Texas had way more depth than we do. We didn't really run too much players after our starting rotation, which is going to be a problem, probably going forward. Speaking of problem, I don't know how that man just made that shot over me with that great defense, but that's neither here nor there. See, one thing y'all gonna learn about me is I love that mid-range, like Shea loves free throws. Now, I stay in the mid-range though. That's my bread and butter. I know it's kind of frowned upon in today's age of statistics and analytics and whatnot, but for me, if I can get that mid-range going, it just opens up my game entirely. I mean, just ask Trey. This man was hitting us from mid-ranges all game. And the game was close. In the second half, we weren't backing down either. We are at our best in the fast break, so all of our guys are pretty quick. And slowly but surely, my chemistry was going up. My boy Julian. See, I was finding him for lobs easy. He was pretty athletic for his size. In my mind, he may not be nationally ranked right now, but as long as scouts are coming to the games to see me for the NBA, maybe I can get his stock up come this season and next season. And for that guy Crawford, he ain't even have the greatest of nights either, but regardless, Texas was so deep that we still found ourselves losing the ball game and trying to fight back. Speaking of lobs, man, y'all know I can get up too. If you didn't know, now you know. I can finish with either hand too. I'm just putting everything on film for the scouts to see. So is Trey. And while the game seemed back and forth primarily between free throws and just bench scoring in general, Texas really had the upper hand. But despite all of that, I still finished with 24, 9 assists, and 7 rebounds. We ended up losing this game 74-81, giving us our first loss of the season. While it was a tough loss, I'm always looking for ways to figure out how I could be even more aggressive going into the next game, and the next game. Next week we had a game against America, back at home. And I feel like this was a chance for me to make a statement here for my home crowd. And at this point in the season, pretty much averaging almost a triple-double, 23, 8, and 8. Really hooping. My matchup tonight was a dude named Grant King. I really don't know too much about him. I just know he's been in America for a couple of years now. But one thing I do know, this man got to the free throw line and almost started bowling. Underhand free throw? I never thought I would see the day I would see that in real life. I thought that was off from like the 1950s or something. But none of that even matters. Tonight, it was about me and my guys. In particular, I'm starting to realize this man, Blake Harper, might really be a first round talent. I'm hoping with the scouts coming to see me, they see his game too. And if it's one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get to that mid-range regardless. I don't care what the defensive coverage is. 3-2, 2-3, 1-3-1, man-to-man. That doesn't really affect my game. Against American, I was getting to the midi. I was finding my guys. In particular, I was making sure the post was fed. Look, our non-conference schedule was super hard. So when we played teams like American, it was only right that we go hard and bury them under the dirt and get our stats up. Listen, I know y'all might think that's selfish and really superficial to think, but we got to be honest. We're talking about going to the NBA. I got to showcase my whole entire bag. And it was hard because we were up by so much. I didn't really play too much towards the end of the second half, but I finally got my double-double. Finished it with 10 assists. But the biggest game of the season was right in front of us. Unless you lived under a rock, you already heard about the phenomenal freshman that reclassed up, and Cooper Flagg. He committed to Duke, and it was pretty clear that he was the #1 player in the nation, and pretty much going to be a one and done. But early on in the season, our AD and coaches thought it was a great idea to put us up against him and Duke. And it wasn't just him. See, they had Tyrese Proctor at the point, Isaiah Evans at the 2, Con Canepo at the 3. And the big problems for us come down low. They got Kaman Malawak, #7 prospect right now in the prospect rankings. Between him and Coop, man, our bigs are going to have some issues tonight. See, Duke, that lineup is pretty tall. The shortest guy is Proctor, and he's about 6'3", 6'4". So for us, it was going to be a nightmare trying to keep them off the glass and out of the paint. For us, Blake tried to set the tone as he hit Isaiah with a nasty move, but that man Malawak was in the paint ready for him. Between Canepo's ability to hit threes, not to mention the ability to control the boards right here, man, Julian, I just felt bad for my guy because there's really nothing much he could do with a 7-foot, 260-pound athletic specimen they got. He just had to stay the course. And for Coop, my guy Eldo was trying his best to guard him, but his quick first step was immaculate. And at this point, I rose up to number 12 in the prospect rankings, so this game was huge for me. After getting out to a slow start, I decided to be a little bit more aggressive. While I didn't make that shot, my mindset was put pressure on Tyrese, make him really have to guard up. So right here, I was patient, waited for my guy Eldo to set the screen, and got to my little mid-range area, finally got a shot to go. And at that point, when I make a shot, my confidence instantly goes up, thinking everything else is going in. But tonight, it just wasn't the case. But for Coop, man, he had Eldo on the string, rocking him back and forth with the right to left and finishing on the other side through the contact, getting and-ones and showing off emotion. And whether it was attacking the rim or simply shooting the three, I seen the levels that there was to this game. And for me, well, I was trying my hardest to get myself involved and my team involved, but we couldn't even get alley-oops to go. And no glaze, of course, but we had dude look like a well-oiled machine out here. Shoot, and I needed some oil for my jump shot as it was broke tonight. And after I missed the jump shot, this man Cooper took me straight to the basket and had me praise dancing, jumping for joy, reaching for the sky. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't never been more embarrassed on defense to that very moment. But with all the scouts watching, I just had to take that to the chin. Y'all ever played and y'all felt like a little pit in y'all stomach, or just in general in life? That's how I was feeling in that first half. In the second half, I said, forget all that. We losing, but it's my time to show out and really prove to the scouts that I'm a hooper and I'm gonna do this for real on the next level. While that plan was nice and sweet in my head, between Coop and Malawak, and that paint was getting battered and abused in that rim. Even off the misses, they were just getting second and third attempts on it and just putting pressure on us. And I was putting pressure on the rim too. I was hitting the heck out of it, not hitting no shots. And in fast breaks, my only chance was to try to get my teammates involved and try to be as unselfish as possible. I wish my game was as smooth as Blake's tonight. He had a pretty solid performance. If the scouts are watching this, they might have thought he was better than me. And right here, this is when I knew I had to do something. I had Cooper on me on a switch. So I tried to hit him with my patented right to left, and he was sitting on it. And I still rose up for the bad shot. It was way off balance. And after that shot missed, I knew it was a wrap for me tonight. I finished 4-13 from the field, 6 turnovers, and made it even worse. I got benched. We ended up losing by almost 30. And while I was on the bench, I could just feel my rankings dropping. But my mom texted me after the game and said, "Don't let one bad game define who you are as a player." It's January 4th, 2025, and this marks the first game of our conference, the MEAC. If you're not familiar, it's a conference full of HBCUs, and every game seemed like a big, huge deal in the community. And out the gate, we played Norfolk State. See, they had Houdini Carter. I'm not even sure why they called him Houdini. I just got here, but I heard the announcer say that. They had Ace Spring at the 2, and they had this football-looking player named Joe Peters, too. But coming to the game and reading the scouting report from the coaches, they said this dude, Yahir Stokes, is supposed to be the real deal. He actually was an NBA prospect, so it would be interesting to keep an eye out for him tonight. And once again, my boy Julian was going to have a hard night as they had this South Sudanese center named Shaquem Barker. Look, by this point, we had already lost about 4 games on the season in the non-conference. But in my mind, I want to run a table. I want to make Howard the greatest team and the greatest HBCU in MEAC history, and it starts tonight. But I guess if I thought it was going to be sweet, I was dead wrong. See, Norfolk State heard about the talent we had, and they came out extra aggressive. I'm talking about meeting me at half court and not even letting me try to get the ball past the line. I got a little frustrated, I can't even lie to you. I hadn't been guarded that hard since high school. And on the offensive end, it was that boy Stokes. Between him and this man named Ace Spring, who they switched on me on defense, and I had to call an early timeout and get ourselves together because we were down and losing on the road. This ain't how I'm going to start my conference career. It seemed like they sicked a dog on me, so I retaliated. I started backing them down and using my physical frame. That didn't work either. So I figured I had to get it right on defense. So I started sitting down and guarding this man Houdini. I'm still trying to figure out why they call him that. And y'all know when y'all hooping, y'all hear one move and it wakes you up? Well, I had that man Ace Spring stuck in the animation off the hezzy. While they didn't call the foul for the N1, which I'll never know why, it got my juices flowing. On the next possession after getting the steal, I had a wide open mid-range shot. And they must not know. That's my bread and butter. But I gotta give credit where credit is due. See, Norfolk State was balling. That man Ace Spring, last name fits. That man got bunnies. But for us, we just kept it pushing. Between our starting 5, we were rocking and rolling. My confidence never wavered. I know we can run the table in this conference. This is what I came here to do. Put Howard on national ranking attentions. And Blake, he had the same mindset. So out the gate in the second half, I made sure I was even more aggressive than I was before, showcasing my entire offensive bag. I had Ace Spring on a one-on-one. I took him to the basket and finished with my offhand. If y'all want to know the truth, for the rest of this season, I'm imagining every defender as Cooper Flag in that position I wish I could have back. I'm trying to go at everybody's neck. Coming into this game, I was rated the number 14 prospect. Even despite that game against Duke, I still rallied back before the conference play. Got my name kept it near the lottery. But it's time for me to rise up even more. And by now, y'all know I'm going to hit to that right to left cross and pull up for the midi. In my debut game in the MEAC, I dropped 31, 9 assists and 13 rebounds against Norfolk State. We got off to an amazing start. And like I said, I came here to do bigger things. I'm going to be honest with y'all. We ended up rolling through the MEAC, as promised. See, our team was loaded. And I ended up leading the nation in points and assists per game. Not to mention I averaged 9 rebounds too. I'm doing things that were never before done on the college scene, but according to ESPN, I'm still not playing good enough to be a top 5 prospect in the NBA draft. A lot of that is because they feel like the level of competition I'm playing is weak. Bleacher Report sees through that though. They got me rated as number 2 prospect behind Cooper Flag. But I'm still out to prove something, and I can't help who I play against every night. I'm just playing against my competition that's on the schedule and really destroying them as humbly as possible. It wasn't just my skill set, it was my motor like I said in high school. Nobody would outwork me on the court. We had a dream season at Howard. In the last game against NC Central, capping it off with a win, we finished our season 14-0 in the conference and 30-4 in the season. And as for me, well, I didn't finish in the top 5 ESPN prospect rankings after the regular season. Not to mention, I'll win MEAC Player of the Year for 2025, averaging over 27, 9, and 9 in conference play alone. But with the way NCAA tournament works, we needed to win our conference tournament in order to get a spot in March Madness. It's March 15th of 2025. Conference title is on the line. Norfolk State versus Howard. And if you're a MEAC fan, you don't want it no other way. The number 1 versus the number 2. We had a chance to cement history today. If we beat Norfolk State, we win the conference title, secure a March Madness ticket, and finish with 33 wins on the season, which will be a record for our university. So for me, I figured why not come out and have my best performance of the season. Look, in my mind, every time I'm taking the court in a college jersey, it's a chance for me to rise my rankings. So today, I got everybody involved early, then I took over. I started attacking the lane. See, one thing about playing a team multiple times in a year, you already know how they're going to guard you. You already know the coverages, and you know who to attack. And for us, we attacked their point guard, Houdini Carter. For Norfolk State, most of their guys didn't really come ready to play tonight. Yair was the only one hooping. See, bro was the runner-up next to me for being MEAC Player of the Year, so I always respected his hustle, but tonight, I was taking it out on the rest of his team. Nobody was holding me. In the fast break, I was just a step quicker. In the half court, I was blown by ace every time. And I already told y'all about my motor. I'm diving on that floor for loose balls like I need a scholarship. In the second half, I turned it up even more. See, normally running point, I really try to refrain from taking too many shots early in the shot clock. But tonight, it was just one of them nights. And it wasn't just on the ball either. I was getting off the ball too. They may have to call me Houdini tonight, the way I was escaping the defense. And to cap off a monster performance, it was only right I finished with the poster over 2 of the tallest defenders on the court for Norfolk State, Yair and Shaquem. And that was the only fitting way to cap off my Howard career in conference play. The poster. See, tonight was special. The best night of my basketball career to date. I finished with a career high 42 points, 7 assists and 11 rebounds to follow, not to mention 6 threes. I had the greatest performance in MEAC history. And there's a lot of talk that I'm the greatest player to ever touch the MEAC, but that's neither here nor there. My mindset is focused on March Madness. At 33-4, I knew the committee was going to hook us up with a good seed, so my mindset was thinking, how do I get this team to a national championship? Oh yeah, all the media outlets have me rated as the number 2 prospect going into March Madness. But why can't I be number 1? See, I thought the committee was going to hook us up with a great seed. But not only did we get the 12th seed after our great season, we playing number 5 UCLA, and basically a home game, so to speak. They playing the game in state. I look up and all I see was Bruins fans. Not even sure if any Howard fans made the trip, but hey. And for the team, well, they got Bryce Freeman from Atlanta, Westlake. And they got shooters on the wings, primarily Zach Payne. They got 2 homegrown LA kids. It's Payne, and they got a son of a former LA legend, Shaykai. Yeah, his son Sincere. Really like that, I can't lie. Right now he's rated the number 14 prospect and projected gold lottery, on the way up. But tonight, it's time to put an end to all of that. Way easier said than done. That boy Payne came out stroking. And for us, we felt the intensity from the crowd, the arena. It just felt like it was all downhill at the beginning. With a team full of freshmen, there's really nobody we could rely on to get us going. So I turned to myself. I attacked the basket and got to the free throw line early. Because every hooper knows sometimes you just need to see the ball go in the basket to get going. You ever felt like y'all was playing against a team that had something to prove? And them boys was hooping. I can't even lie. Cotton was getting to the basket, getting to the mid-range, and scoring easy. Payne was shooting the threes, and it was getting so bad I had to pull to the side of the road and call for help. I don't even remember what time it was in the first half, but I had to call that timeout like our life was on the line. When we were down double digits heading into the second half. But then I remembered, I'm the number 2 prospect in the nation, bruh. I can't go outside. So I started turning up. But basketball is a team sport. And as far as the team goes, UCLA had all of that working. And they showed us that there was levels to this. And now it makes sense why we were the 12th seed. See, we didn't play that much competition in our conference. But see, UCLA, they were battle tested and played in the Big Ten. So they expected us to come out a little harder than we did, and we did it. And they took advantage. And Bryce, And the Bruins, well, they had our number. And as for me, well, I really tried my hardest to leave it all on the table. It was slowly starting to become reality that this would be my last collegiate game, as UCLA was raining down threes and blew us out the water. We ended up losing this game by almost 20 points. And for my college career, it was coming to an end. For Blake, he had hinted at me that if the draft didn't work, he was in the transfer portal to see what his options were. For Lawrence, I think he was going to stay here at Howard and try to build something. And I respect bro. And me and him was going to always be in contact. And for my dog Julian, well, I don't know what he was going to do either. He was getting a lot of calls from other teams around the Power 5. With guys like Sincere Cotton, I know he's headed to the draft and I'm going to see him later. In my last collegiate game, I tried to muster it up and make it better than what it was, but it wasn't my best performance at all. But at this point, none of that matters anymore. All the work has been done. And the prospect rankings are slowly starting to mean nothing as well. I'm getting ready for the NBA draft and ready for my life to change. While I was working out, I was starting to imagine the cities I could be in. Philly, Toronto. I could even be in San Antonio, throwing lobs to Wembanyama. Let me not get too far ahead of myself. See, whether I go number 1 or number 60, I'm going to the NBA. And they telling me I can't be the number 1 pick. And I say, why not?
Cooper Flagg or Malik Mills, that is the decision that the Hornets will have to make tonight.
With the first pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Charlotte Hornets select.
Welcome back. Let's just say, I got a lot to fill you in on. Well, let's start with the finals.
And the Boston Celtics have done it. They are the NBA champions.
Just as everybody expected, the Boston Celtics are champions once again, winning back-to-back titles. First team to do that, well, since the Warriors. Jason Tatum, well, he won his first finals MVP. After all the criticism, laughter, mocking, he really got it done. And while the Celtics were securing the NBA title, I was in Chicago getting ready for the NBA Combine, for the draft. And I couldn't help but think, man, what was my future headed to? I wanted to win an NBA championship too in my career, as early as possible. But obviously, whatever team I was going to was going to need some help. I couldn't help but think the way I walked off the court for the last time at Howard left a sour taste in my mouth. At the Combine, I really didn't have to do too much work. They really just wanted to get my measurables. As you can see, I'm still projected to be a top 3 pick. In reality, I might go top 2. Another guy in the top 3 is Ace Bailey, a guy I played back in high school. He had a solid season at Rutgers. Not too great, but his measurables and potential still had him in the top 3. My guy Trey Johnson that I played at Texas, well, he's still projected to go top 10. If you ask me, well, this draft is loaded. My guy Dylan Harper that also played at Rutgers, they got him going in the top 5 right now. It's a toss-up. There's so many guards to choose from, including me. It just depends on what you like. And what I like is my guy Derek Queen from Maryland. Big dude with finesse, footwork, touch. I wish he can go wherever I go. And of course, it's Cooper Flagg. Mr. Perfect, Mr. Everything, superstar, generational talent. Projected number 1 pick all season. In my opinion, and this may be biased, but take me with the number 1 pick. Hey, I had workouts with the Philadelphia 76ers, Washington Wizards, and the Charlotte Hornets. And if you ask me, I cooked at all 3. For the Sixers, they had the 3rd pick. In my brain, I was hoping I didn't fall to them. With Washington, I knew there was a real possibility that I would go 2nd. So I had to make sure I really performed for them. So there was no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm either going number 1 or number 2 in my mind. And guess who I saw at my workout? Derek Queen, the Maryland kid, Baltimore. Imagine the young dynamic duo we could be back there in Washington. And last but not least, my final workout was with the Charlotte Hornets, of course at the number 1 draft pick. And I don't know what I could have did to convince them to pick me over Cooper Flagg, but I sure enough balled out in my workout, cooked everybody, and I left them with no doubt. In my opinion, I do it all. I may not be 6'10" and super athletic like my counterpart, but put the measurables to the side and go pound for pound. What does he do better on the basketball court that I don't? I score, I pass, and I rebound. But this decision is out of my control.
With the first pick In the 2025 NBA Draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Cooper Flagg, Duke University. With the second pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Washington Wizards select Malik Mills, Howard University.
I'm staying in DC, the same place where I played my college basketball at. See, General Manager Will Dawkins said that they've been scouting me since I even got to Howard, and they felt like I was the perfect person to turn this organization around. The Wizards have been putrid, awful, and Jordan Poole, well, he quite frankly needs some help, and the fans have had enough. They're barely coming to games, and whenever they do, they seeing losing efforts. So they brought me in to help turn this thing around. And it's a lot to bear on my shoulders, but I got help with me too. And heading into Summer League, we're gonna see what the young talent that we got could produce. Vegas, the Strip, Summer League 2025. I'm here with the Washington Wizards as the number 2 overall draft pick. And honestly, I'm here to ball out as usual. I'm here to prove that the Wizards made the right choice. But hey, quietly, we put together one of the best Summer League teams in Vegas. Between me, Bubs Carrington, and AJ Johnson in the backcourt, lethal. 2 guys that got a lot of playing time for the Wizards at the end of the season. Not to mention in the front court, we got Kaishan George. A lot of second-year guys looking to grow the chemistry and figure out their roles for the next season. Me and my guy J.D. Gibson down low were the 2 rookies in the lineup. And out the gate, I wanted to make my presence felt. And I missed. That didn't matter too much. It's Summer League. It's time to leave it out on the line. I got nothing to lose. I was taking number 2 overall. So I got going with an alley-oop. Best way to see the ball go in the basket is at the rim. I was getting steals. And honestly, in the first half, the thing that showcased most was my defensive ability, which wasn't talked about a lot. And I feel like that's what's going to separate me in this draft class. Not to mention my size and my strength and my touch. I told y'all, in my head I could do it all when I'm on the basketball court. And this is something I did at Howard often. Grab the rebound, push the break, find the open man in transition, easy points. I was really finding my open man all game. I wasn't really being aggressive in the scoring column until the second half. Fine with me. And I forgot to mention another rookie that we got, KJ Turner. I felt like we kind of snagged him in the second round. Good for us, because he was like a Swiss Army knife. When he checked into the game, the ball was moving. He threw a lob to AJ Johnson, and I'm starting to realize we might be the most athletic team out here in Vegas. In the second half, my guy KJ got going. He had a nice little bag too. Mid-range, pull up, smooth. Defense too. And my excitement was growing. Indiana wasn't no slouch either. They had a couple rookies I was keeping my eye on too. This dude named Zaire Cooper was giving out buckets. Maybe he could crack the rotation there in Indiana, but who knows? They got a lot of guards out there. For me, one thing I've always been struggling with is turnovers. One thing I never struggle with is finding my jumper. I told y'all, patience. I didn't have to come out the first half too aggressive, but in the second half, I was locking up, grabbing boards, and what I do? I felt my antennas go up. I get the screen, I hit an immediate step back for 3, and I ain't gonna lie, I missed it. Maybe I was a little too aggressive in that second half, but it really didn't matter too much. The coaching staff gave me the green light. So in transition, I went back to the basics, finding an open guy. Quiet as it's kept, I still finished with 21 points, 7 assists, and 8 rebounds, shooting about 50% from the field. It's the turnovers I gotta watch. And while I wasn't playing, I kept my eye on the rest of the rookie class. The Utah Jazz had a boatload of rookies, I cannot lie. I don't know who I was gonna play, but I know who is. This dude named Pierre Dupont from France. See, the Jazz took him in the top 5. Surprised everybody. But apparently, Victor Wembanyama had a lot to say about him, ring his praises, like his little protege. And he was out there getting blocks, steals, deflections, a menace. The Utah Jazz might have a future star on their hands, but who knows? The Spurs, well, they beefed up their backcourt. They drafted Bryson Baker, aka B5, to run the point. His size kind of reminded me of Stephon Castle. And they also drafted Jalen Archer, who could knock down the 3. He'll probably come off the bench. Out in Toronto, they got my guy Trey Johnson. Pretty solid pick. Low-key a steal. He fell outside of the top 5. And in Phoenix, There's a lot going on that I can't even get into all the way right now, but just know Devin Booker was traded on draft night. Yeah, for 2 first-round picks and a couple of future first-round picks. And they're pretty high on this kid named Orlando Reeves, who they drafted in the first round with Orlando's pick. They feel like he could be the future. I don't know about that, but we'll see. If you're talking about draft winners, Brooklyn Nets might be in that category. They snagged Dylan Harper out of the top 5 too. Not to mention they got TJ Hamilton out of Memphis, knockdown shooter. And they got my guy, Derek Queen, outside of the top 10. Much to everybody's surprise, but again, this draft was loaded. And the Nets look to be in full rebuild mode. Potentially can make some noise this season with the talent they got. Like I told you, watching Derek Queen is amazing. Let me not glaze them too much though, but the Nets surely gonna be a team to watch out for too, even in the summer league. And of course, the Charlotte Hornets got their guy. Not me, but Cooper Flag, Mr. Generational Transcendent Talent. And as much as I wanted to go number 1, he seemed to be a perfect fit for the Hornets already. And he got some help too. They drafted a kid named Xavier Tate out of Houston. And between those two and a few other guys they drafted, the Hornets are looking pretty solid in the summer league. Not to mention Coop was really looking like a number 1 pick, I must say so myself. He was doing everything he did in college and then some. All the worries about his size and youth, no concerns here, at least out here in Vegas. But we'll see about that. And his running mate at Duke, Malawat, he got picked up by the Pelicans. See, they're looking to rebuild too, for a different reason. And I'll share that soon too, just not right now. Back to us. We played the New York Knicks one game. In this game, I was feeling it. My guy KJ got us started. And the Knicks had this dude named Isaac Walker from New York that they drafted to keep him home. But that didn't have nothing to do with me. I came out the gate aggressive on all fronts. Passing, defense, scoring. In my head, I wanted to win the Summer League title. See, guys like Bubs, AJ Johnson, Kaishan, they all actually got benched because ownership didn't want them getting hurt. They already did enough. So that opened up more room for me to be more aggressive, assertive, really dominate. And that's exactly what I did against New York. I was getting to the rim with ease, finishing with my offhand. Transition, y'all know what I do. Cross, Euro, lay. Easy. In the paint, I hit a nasty sham guard, finished with the offhand, really getting anything I want, whenever I want. I'm just opening up the bag for real. As strange as this may sound, I feel a lot more free on the NBA court than I did back in college. Spacing is a huge deal. I was getting in my spots a lot easier than I was back at college. And in this summer league game against the Knicks, I put on a clinic. I finished the game, again, over 25 points on the night, and capped it off with this nice 3 in the corner, celebrating and all. And with a lot of the main guys sitting out, it allowed some of our later draft picks to get it going. My guy Mylan Hartfield. Between him, KJ, and myself, we dominated. And I finished the game with 29 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists on efficient shooting. And again, the turnovers, I know I gotta watch. I'm gonna get it together soon, but don't worry about that. For now, all I'm worried about is this quarterfinals game we got against none other than the Charlotte Hornets. And it's my time to get that get back on Cooper Flag, but when I was out there, I noticed one thing. He wasn't starting. It was this dude that I already remember from UCLA, Zach Payne. And don't get me wrong, he was a bucket. Charlotte Hornets got a good draft pick indeed, but he ain't the guy I was looking forward to playing. The guy I was looking forward to playing was on the bench. And apparently, the Charlotte Hornets said he tweaked his ankle with warm-ups and decided not to play him against me and for the rest of the Summer League tournament. And despite his dominant numbers, this is a matchup I really wanted. And while I was initially disappointed, I decided I'm taking it out on everybody I see in the Charlotte Hornets uniform. They still getting the work that I was going to get to Cooper. And I'll just have to say that for the regular season next time. Out the gate, I'm getting to the basket, finishing with Lay's, Doritos, whatever chips you want. Everything was easy at the rim. Charlotte wasn't no pushover either, but it just wasn't their night. It was mine. The coaching staff told me this probably be my last Summer League game to not risk me getting hurt. Little did they know they put a battery in my back. I was out there getting steals at half court and finishing transition with ease. I ended up finishing the game with 32, 5, and 7. And I shot the ball 22 times. It was nothing nobody could tell me out there. It's my last game. I'm going out with a ball. And I knew that I had Cooper in attendance, watching. I finished Summer League. Some pretty dominant numbers if you ask me. And while I was cooking in Summer League, there was a lot going on in the NBA world behind the scenes that, let's just say, the NBA is going to look completely different.
The Phoenix Suns are sending their all-time leading scorer Devin Booker to the Orlando Magic in exchange for the 12th pick Anthony Brown, 22nd pick Orlando Reeves, and multiple future first-round picks.
Well, the Phoenix Suns decided to blow up their team, starting with their all-time leading scorer Devin Booker, sending him to Orlando to help Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, see if Orlando can finally get over the hump. And in return, they traded their draft picks to the Phoenix Suns, which we already saw one of those guys in Orlando Reeves. And also, the Pelicans traded Zion Williamson, yes, the former #1 overall pick, to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Julius Randle and a future first-round pick. And they paired both the athletic freaks Anthony Edwards and Zion together. Speaking of blowing up Phoenix, they traded Bradley Beal to Charlotte. And Bradley Beal solemnly swears that this season he's coming different. He's ready to hoop in a better position. Malik Monk and Sacramento Kings, they had a falling out. They traded him to the Milwaukee Bucks to see if he can help Dame and Giannis figure this out one last time. Because there's rumors that Giannis might leave Milwaukee if they can't get a ring this season. Free agency. And speaking of the Kings, well, they sent Sabonis to the Bulls in exchange for Vucevic. See, the Bulls, they feel like they got something with Kobe White. Oklahoma City, they used all that draft capital to get a shooting guard in Quentin Grimes. And they traded Lou Dort, which came as a surprise. But at this point, all eyes were back on Phoenix. What are they going to do with Kevin Durant?
It's official. Superstar and future Hall of Famer Kevin Durant has been traded home. The Phoenix Suns are sending Durant to the Washington Wizards in exchange for Jordan Poole, A.J. Johnson, Chris Middleton, and a future first-round draft pick. This trade may be a surprise to most, but according to sources, Kevin Durant had Washington on his short list of targeted destinations. The Maryland native finally returns home to play perhaps at the end of his long and storied NBA career.
The news that Kevin Durant got traded to Washington hit the NBA like the COVID pandemic. Nobody saw it coming. But according to KD, he wanted to finish his career back home and see if Washington could get lit again. Washington gave up a huge haul to get KD. Chris Middleton, A.J. Johnson, I just played with his summer league. And also Jordan Poole. And those guys join a weird dynamic in Phoenix. Phoenix is in a rebuild, yet they got a lot of random mixture of ages in that group. But maybe Jordan Poole could help lead these young guys to do something. A lot of rookies on that team. All eyes are going to be on Washington now because after KD, DeMar DeRozan decided to take his talents here too. And just like that, Washington went from being a laughingstock to all of a sudden getting all the media attention. And as for me, I'm still the #2 draft pick. And now I get to play with KD. Guys like Alex Sarr and a lot of the young guys on this team never saw this coming, but in training camp, it got active. See, one thing about KD and DeMar DeRozan, they brought the energy. No more none of this rookie learning curve stuff. They came here to win games. So guys like Bub showed out too. And KD, man, he was playing magnet ball in training camp. I ain't never seen nothing like it. Look, I got my stuff off for sure, but when it came to KD, this man was hitting nothing but net. It felt like on every jump shot he took. It was clear and evident. While his career was winding down, he came to Washington to make things right. He said he couldn't retire, feeling like he never gave Washington a shot. And he was out here torturing us, particularly my guy KJ. Couldn't hold a candle to him, but who could? It's KD. In the training camp, me and Bub was going at it. Second year guard against a rookie. And for Bilal, DeMar, and the rest of the guys, it was just about showtime. And everybody was hyped and ready to prove to the world that the Wizards are back and better than ever. Opening night 2025 here in the district. But it's a new regime. The packed crowd is here to see one thing.
Point guard position, 6'6", number 5, Malik.
I'm I'm making my NBA debut tonight in the starting rotation with a collective of guys that I didn't see coming when I got drafted, but I'm thankful to have. DeMar, Bilal, Alex, and of course, the one and only Slim Reaper.
Number 7,
I took one look out before the game at the crowd. Packed. Not one seat unsat. Everybody was in attendance to see KD and the young guys. And as for me, it was crazy taking the torch from KD at the beginning of the game, but we were going against a tough opponent tonight, Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers. But see, James Harden was gone. He followed the money. So they drafted a rookie named Rico Red in the first round, and that was my matchup tonight. And out the gate, he was a little aggressive, but it didn't really matter too much. See, one thing is we had a tall lineup, considering I'm the point guard at roughly 6'6", 6'7", and KD at the 4? Nasty. Him and Kawhi were going at it at the beginning of the game. It wasn't really much for me to do. Norman Powell got it going for the Clippers too, and he set the tone. And I already knew this game was going to be great. The only thing I was a little nervous about was figuring out when I was going to get my shot up first. And then it happened. The play was drawn for me to get a double screen at the top, and I pulled for the wide open 3. Top of the key. Drained it. My first NBA points come from the 3-point line. And with that off my back, I figured it was time to hoop. On the defensive side of the ball, well, Kawhi was taking everybody we had one-on-one on him, and I respect that. It's crazy being on the same court with 2 NBA legends at once, dueling. I was a spectator at one point, so much so that I got put out the game in the first quarter to come relax. The coaching staff just felt like they wanted to come calm my nerves and remind me. They drafted me to be a little more aggressive, but at the same time, play off the vets. So while on the bench, I got to watch the NBA in full effect. Y'all know one thing I hate? It's when you locking up a dude and he finally scored when you on the bench, but that's besides the point. The Wizards, my team, found their rhythm and groove early. I didn't mind being on the bench. For the first time in my basketball career, I'm on the bench watching my team succeed, and it was a blessing in disguise. I'm sitting next to my assistant coaches and picking up game and gearing myself up to get back in the game, but also being supportive of the fellas. Out there in my place, it was Bug. Between him, Bilal, KD, DeMar, they were locking up. This man KD had his rhythm early, putting on a show for the Washington Wizards crowd in DC. It was early, but we were putting on a defensive clinic in that first quarter. Come second, it was probably time for us to ramp up our scoring a little bit, so I got back on the court and immediately made an impact. But again, I didn't feel the urge to take too many shots. We had a lot of scores on this team, quiet as it's kept. So for me, I'm playing my role to a T. Guys like Bilal in their third year are taking that extra step. In the first half, I had a quiet 5 points, but a 4 assists and 4 rebounds had me in the stat sheet pretty comfortably. For the Clippers, well, they started to rally back and score a lot more in that second quarter. And towards the end of the second quarter, we found the moneymaker, KD. Secured us a 2-point lead going into halftime. Kawhi Leonard would score 2 at the end of the half. With a 52-54 ball game, the start of the second half will be pivotal. For the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard was clearly on a mission. Without James Harden, he obviously had to be way more aggressive than he was before. For our team, it was KD, continuing to do what he do, shoot. Between those two, it was a legends duel. Then DeMar DeRozan said, "Can I enter in this dance?" Finally got himself going with a mid-range. And in that third quarter, it was a lot of mano-a-mano action. I said, "Excuse me, don't mind if I get an assist right here to my big fella." And towards the end of the third quarter, we were rolling, extending the lead once again. But I didn't really get involved in the scoring column. That was really all Bub. Again, he subbed in for me at the end of that third quarter and got it going. KJ, he got some action too, but he couldn't find his stroke. And I respect it. So as I was getting ready to check in for the fourth quarter, I had one thing on my mind. They drafted me number 2 for a reason. KD came here to play with guys like me. So why not come out this fourth quarter? Let the people know that I'm here too. So out the gate, it was me and Bub in the backcourt. Quiet as it's kept, this was one of my favorite rotations. Me and Bub could get to the rim like none other. and I immediately got it going with a layup. Being way more aggressive, I got the pick and roll and did a floater over Zubac. Now I'm feeling it. The next possession, even more aggressive. I got Terry Rozier on me. I thought it was sweet. I put up for the nice close range jump shot and it was just slightly off. And then I thought to myself, maybe I should chill out. Bub had the opposite intentions as he hit a nice hezzy on Bogdanovic, attacked the rim with 2 hands for safety. That man was lost. And for us, we had a nice comfortable lead in the fourth quarter without our superstar KD as he was on the bench. By the time they checked back in the ball game, the Clippers were starting to rally a little bit as Kawhi Leonard was back to being automatic. The coaching staff pulled me out for a couple of minutes to get some rest, catch my breath, and again know the assignment going back in the game. And after rip, that assignment was to get KJ off the court. And my dog couldn't get a jump shot going to save his life tonight, but it's okay. Because guess who did? KD. But in this possession right here, we were getting clamped. The Clippers were starting to rally and come back. Make this a tight ball game. The crowd was getting a little antsy. For me, my assignment was still Rico. Last thing I want to do is give up any points to him. And sure enough, off a screen, I get caught slipping. And he buries the 3 to cut this to a 3-point game with a little over 3 minutes left. KD wasted no time answering that with a 3 of his own. The next possession, we gave the ball right back to KD. And I set the double screen. I was about to watch him go to work. Little did I know he was trying to kick it back out to me. And it resulted in a turnover, miscommunication. And I could tell KD was frustrated with me, but he tried to contain it because he knew I was a rookie. In the next possession, Kawhi hits a 3. The game was tight. The ball in KD's hands, we were trying to force it to him, but Kawhi's defense was pretty solid, so he had to kick it out. In a 3-point ball game, I was forced to throw up a 3 at the end of the shot clock. And guess what? Buried it. Extended to a 6-point ball game with 1:45 left in the game. And I couldn't celebrate too hard because the game was still intense, but in my mind, I was going crazy. Next possession, the Clippers turn it over. And in transition, Bilal kicks it up to me, and I kick it up to Alex. Get him an easy finish to give us an 8-point lead. And just like that, the raw emotions of securing our first win in the Wizards uniform hit me and KD at the same time. What a feeling. Celebrating next to one of the greatest players of all time. And it was time to close out. Foul game. I went to the line and y'all know I'm automatic. I lied. I only hit 1 or 2 free throws, but it didn't matter. We ended up getting a 101-94 win over the LA Clippers an opening night in Washington in the district, and the city was back alive again. And as for KD, well, this is game 1 of 82. And while he told the guys that this is only the beginning, I couldn't help but feel good about it. In my debut, I went for 15, 8 assists, and 9 rebounds. And my favorite, I only had 1 turnover in the night. As for that boy KD, well, he had the Michael Porter Jr. special, 30 points, 0 assists. But listen, when you KD, you don't need to swing the rock. Take all the shots you want, bro. And listen, the future is bright for us. We had trips coming up against the New York Knicks in Madison Square Garden. My first time ever at the Mecca. As much fun as this game was, there was one I was looking forward to even more than this. In Charlotte. And you should already know why. It was time to get some get back. The matchup that I've been waiting for since college. The number 1 pick versus the number 2. My rival.
If the Hornets don't take flag, the NBA needs to disband the entire franchise immediately. This is a no-brainer, dude. I'm taking the generational talent over the one-hit wonder at a small school. Do not mess this up.
Hey Malik, you know you're the best player in the draft, right? Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. What you did here at Howard will be remembered forever. Whether it's Charlotte or Washington, it doesn't even matter for real. But if the Hornets pass up on you, well, you played your college ball here in DC, right? We absolutely need you on the Wizards, man. The city needs a good team again. It's been forever. Regardless, though, you'll be great wherever you go. And don't forget about us when you make it big, alright?
I guess I made it now, huh? The show. I'm here at Madison Square Garden in New York City, taking on the one and only New York Knicks. You know what that means. I'm facing the starting 5 that never sits on the bench. Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Karl Anthony Towns, and Josh Hart. And me? Well, I'm the starting point guard of the Washington Wizards, and I'm here to change the narrative of our team. Look, the Wizards have been the punching bag of the East for the last few years, and I'm trying to change that. And I got KD with me, so I have no excuse. And out the gate, there goes the problem I will face early on in my NBA career, facing the elite NBA guards. Started with Jalen Brunson. See, my man was quick, but he also was crafty. See, not only could he blow by me for the layup, he could also draw fouls too. Early on, this game was pretty high octane. Even DeMar DeRozan was getting in on the action. And after I got cooked by Brunson, my boy Sarri was there to clean up with the snatch block. And mostly, in the first half on offense, I was letting the old heads cook, KD and DeRozan. On defense, me and the young guys like Alex Sarr were locking up. Well, maybe I wasn't locking up because JB was starting to cook me in the second quarter. And he was hitting that falling antic that he always does. You would have thought I pushed him or shoved him to the ground, but regardless on offense, here I go, trying to isolate like I'm in high school or college or something. It's the NBA, and that don't really work unless you want to elite players like Karl Anthony Towns. So I decided to switch it up again and just go right back to passing. See, a lot of my fans from Howard, and maybe if you've been watching me from high school, expect me to just dominate and cook NBA level competition, especially a team like the Knicks with a defensive-minded coach like Tom Thibodeau. Nah, see, even some of the vets were struggling in that first half. The one guy that held us together was our glue, our leader, our captain, KD. And when he was struggling, it was starting to get a little dark. The Knicks were even hitting transition threes. Josh Hart. It seemed like JB, Jalen Brunson, was trying to little bro me all game, at least in the first half. I was just struggling a little bit, not really sure where I should assert myself. In the scoring column, the assist column, so right before the second half, I hit the bench, and I observed. What exactly did I observe? I observed Brunson tearing up our defense. He was getting to the basket, finding open guys, and quite frankly, he could pull up whenever he wanted to. Shout out to my guy Bud, but he wasn't holding the candle to him. And even they rookies was getting off too. I kind of hated to see it. I was a little envious, but that's not healthy. And for my guys, well, my guy KJ's still struggling in the game too. I don't know what provoked him to throw this pass to nobody. Guess my boy told somebody to go long and they stopped for a curl route. And bad decision here. Trying to isolate one of the best one-on-one defenders in the NBA, Mikal Bridges. Nah, it's not gonna work. And even though KJ's my dog, the more bad plays he piled up, coach turned to me and said, Malik, get right back in the game before the second half. So I waited and watched. And I took a moment to observe again, taking the moment. And as I was taking it in, I saw KJ brick another shot. Kind of shook my head and say, you know what? I gotta be the OG rookie. The rookie that comes in and sets the tone. For the second year guys, that was Bub. See, while he wasn't the greatest defender on offense, he was a way better three-point shooter than I gave him credit for. And while Brunson finally got rest, it was finally time for us to take the lead back. So when I came in the game, I had a newfound focus. Get a bucket real quick. Check. Jalen Brunson still had to watch. And before the second half, the end of the first, we finally got a little bit of rhythm, but that was quickly taken out by DeMar DeRozan in a selfish attempt to get a bucket himself. He took the whole shot clock down, decided to pass it late, and got a shot clock violation. See, we can't afford that going forward. We got too many guys that can get a bucket in isolation. We got to swing the ball like the Knicks are. See, I got caught napping right here as Jalen Brunson teed it up from three. The pass from Cat, and he had a signature celebration. And what I just tell y'all, the ISO ball will not work in the long run. Look, I know we got legends like KD who could shoot it over everybody, DeMar DeRozan, professional scorer, and even me. But if we want to win games in this league, I already know we got to swing the rock. I didn't do that here. You see, when you're not getting the ball multiple possessions, you kind of start fiending a little bit. Speaking of fiending, this man Jalen Brunson was swinging the rock back and forth, and I felt like I was under hypnosis. And he drained it for the mid-range. And the way the Knicks were scoring, you would think they had the lead in this first half, but thanks to KD, we stayed afloat and kept our lead going into halftime. But for me, I felt like I had way much more to produce. Look, I was a scorer and I did everything in college. But out the gate here in the NBA, it seemed like it was taking a little while to get it going. But here I am being dramatic. It's only my second game. So out the gate in the second half, I bust down a three. And it seemed like we got it going on offense immediately. At halftime, coach reminded us that the Knicks are only playing 5 guys for most of the game. So just keep it going in transition, get them tired, and their legs will start to get heavy. He was right. The Knicks fans were a little shocked. They're not used to seeing the Washington Wizards actually be good at basketball, and I don't blame them. But it's a new era. The era features, obviously, Kevin Durant, but Also me, the number 2 draft pick. And it also features my guy KJ, who, despite us having a blowout margin in the fourth quarter, still couldn't get it going. Look, it's only game 2 and I got a lot of faith in my guy. I saw him show out in Summer League. But me and DeMar couldn't help but laugh on the bench. Maybe I shouldn't be laughing too hard. I only had 14 points and only 3 assists, which is very disappointing. I did have 3 blocks. Closed out the game at the Garden. Bub hit a 3 and I celebrated and I was hyped for my guys. But at the same time, I needed some work. So when we got back home, my OG, my vet, KD, Kevin Durant, challenged me to a one-on-one. Look, he said whenever we at home and we got time, we gonna hoop together. Iron sharp as iron. And he felt like he saw the potential in me and he wanted me to sharpen my craft. Well, that's kind of hard to do when you're going against one of the best scorers in the NBA. Look, I'm measured at 6'6" and 3/4. KD's about 7 foot if you ask me. So he was getting that jumper off with ease, but maybe it wasn't about that. KD said it's about getting the reps in and staying sharp. So whenever I got the ball on offense, I did just that. Quietly, I know I impressed him with my offensive abilities. And he reminded me, it's about finding your spots in the floor and not hesitating, getting straight to it. And in this run, I did just that. And I kind of proved to him that he can rely on me as a consistent scorer going forward. And after our runs, we headed out on the road to face a foe oh so familiar. Game 3 of the 2025-26 NBA season saw us in the Queen City, Charlotte. With me, KD, and the Washington Wizards will be facing the Charlotte Hornets in an early, yet a big game, as it was my first time matching up against Cooper Flag. Yes, the number 1 pick versus the number 2. But while this game was between me and him and had a lot of high stakes and a lot of eyes watching, my matchup was going to be number 1 in blue, LaMelo Ball. See, I remember scrolling on Twitter and seeing the tweet that said LaMelo hoops like he got earpods in and slides. And they probably right, but in this first quarter, we came out and set the tone as KD was ultra aggressive. You would think he was the one that had a point to prove tonight. And for the Hornets, it was B. Miller. Brandon was getting to the rim and dunking on everybody, setting the tone for the Hornets. And I was struggling to get around screens and keeping up with LaMelo. See, my man could pull from 3 and he could also attack the basket pretty nice, but the advantage I had was my strength. This is a back and forth game, and I know you're wondering, man, who got time to watch the Wizards and the Hornets when other teams are playing? But quiet as it's kept, we got stars of the past and stars of the future all in one game. See, Cooper was ultra aggressive in the first half, and I tried to follow suit, but in a different way, passing the ball. I ain't gonna lie, I forgot LaMelo had this kind of handle. He even with a series of moves and got to the basket for the lay. And after a timeout, I was kind of exhausted. After the timeout, I decided to attack the basket aggressively and I got my shot swatted by who else? Number 2. Cooper Flag got me again. I kind of was embarrassed, but I had to shake it off and I tried to go for 3 right after. Brick. See, that's why coaches tell you not to take the game too personal, because you start missing and start forcing it. But I decided, you know what? Let's keep the ball moving like I've been preaching. The ball was swinging around in that first half, believe me. And we basically had a 10-point lead for most of the first half, but this man Cooper Flag tried to go for another block, and thankfully the refs called foul. But what y'all think? Was that a foul or was that clean? Of course, I'm going to say it's a foul so I can get to the free throw line and finally get it going a little bit, because I was struggling. As for Cooper, well, he had told Brad that he was going to get me more than one time in this game, and he almost did. And of course, I couldn't even hit both my free throws. I only hit one. And in the first half, it was struggle city and Queen City, but I finally decided to keep attacking the basket, and the opening came up. But about 3.5 minutes left before the first half was over, we felt pretty confident in the game, but a game-changing play happened right before halftime as number 30 for the Hornets, Xavier Tate, rose up for the windmill slam in transition, and the crowd went crazy. I promise you, it was almost deafening. And believe me, the Hornets rallied off that. Now Cooper Flag getting it going, and the rookies were tag teaming us. And I was trying to come back, but they quietly double teamed me. Quiet as it's kept, we fumbled and stumbled all the way down to the end of the first half, and our lead dwindled down to 4, thanks in large part to Cooper Flag asserting itself before halftime. Coming out of halftime, the Hornets looked like a whole new team. Bradley Beal was getting it going. And in transition, LaMelo Ball was going straight downhill. I know I fouled him. He got the and one. The Hornets not only took the lead back, was starting to get a little dark for us as Cooper Flag took it right to my chest like he didn't see me. And ego and pride aside, I had to admit, through the first 2 and some change quarters of this ball game, Cooper Flag definitely deserved the number 1 pick over me. And while I was in my mind struggling all throughout the third quarter, Coach was yelling at me. And eventually, I saw the bench at the beginning of the fourth quarter. And look, KD went crazy at the end of the third quarter to give us a lead at the beginning of the fourth. Time for me to observe again. And what exactly did I observe? Well, I observed the greatest shooter of all time, Bradley Beal. I'm sorry, but this man went on a crazy 15-0 run by himself. I'm talking about 3 after 3 after 3. And just when he thought the shooting was enough in transition, he plowed right through KJ, finished with the and one and was flexing and kissing elbows. I ain't never seen that before. My man KJ just could not catch a break. Flew through the floor and got the foul called on him. And after the and one, it was time for us to secure the lead back, which we did. Bradley Beal eventually cooled off, and KD, well, he never cooled off. He just got right back to action. And finally, I found my jump shot. It was a pretty struggling night for me, but I had to make up for it on defense, which I did not. I let LaMelo Ball hit me with a series of moves and fly right by me for 2 back-to-back layups. Close the game up. I started to feel that pressure. It was almost like LaMelo was seeking me out, trying to make an example out of me. And I didn't even have any help. I was on that island by myself. The man that be playing with AirPods and slides on the court, well, yeah, he was cooking me up. But thanks to my teammate KD, I had a lifeline. In one possession in particular, I felt like I wanted to go right back at LaMelo and show him I'm with all the smoke. There I go, taking it personal again. As a point guard, that just can't happen. Thanks to my teammates playing great defense, we didn't let Charlotte take the lead. As a matter of fact, we dumped it down to DeMar DeRozan, and he took his own time and finished over the other number 24 in Brandon Miller to give us a 2-point lead with about 2 minutes left. But here I go, letting LaMelo Ball squeeze past me and get to the paint. What's the problem with that? Well, the drive and kick game. He found Brandon Miller wide open, and he gave the Hornets a 1-point lead with a little under 2 minutes left in the game. But much to my surprise, my dog Alex Sarr kissed the corner 3 to give us a 2-point lead right back. This game is intense, and in transition, we failed to get back. Tie ball game. On the other end, we went back to DeMar to see what he wanted to do with it. He gave it back to me. What do I do with it? Well, I try to pull up for the midi over Brandon Miller, and it's off again. I was struggling, and in the transition, I tried to stop Cooper Flag. I reach in, get crossed, and Cooper takes it all the way and yams it. Yeah, that just happened. Not only did I miss the clutch crunch time shot, I get crossed and gotta watch Cooper dunk on the whole team and celebrate. The Hornets went up 2 points with a little under 50 seconds left in the ball game. And while I wanted to come right back and make up for my wrongdoings, like I'm in college, I had to be smart. I'm still the point guard of the team. So I stayed patient and knew exactly who I was going to. Get the ball to KD and get out the way. I set him a screen and he pulled right up to his sweet spot, tied the game up with 34 seconds. Beautiful. KD was on one tonight, thankfully. My guy was saving me out here, saving the team. And while we were hyped, I couldn't help but try to ignore the lights in the crowd and just dial in and try to make one defensive stop to get the team the ball back. Off the inbound, LaMelo Ball got in it, caught himself trying to throw a lob to Mark Williams, and it didn't work. Bilal was playing great defense, and here we go. The ball was in our hands with a chance to take a lead. Of course, the ball was in my hands again, and don't even worry about it. I knew who I got to get the ball to. Number 7. They say big-time players make big-time plays, and, well, the ball was in KD's hands, and he pulled a midi. And got it. Right over Cooper Flag. And with 9 seconds left, we have a 2-point lead, and you would think KD was the one that got drafted second behind Cooper Flag, the way he was going at him all night, and even celebrating, giving him the this guy point. And for me, well, of course, I was excited. Through all my struggles, I got a teammate that actually can carry me. It's a new change from my basketball career. And for Cooper, obviously he was disappointed, but still 9 seconds left. After the timeout, the Hornets inbound the ball to LaMelo. Here I go, sliding my feet, trying to lock up. I cannot let him blow past me. I start to lock up, get help defense from Alex Sarr, and he kicks it out to Cooper Flag for the tie game. Block. KE sends that shot to the 5th row. And just like that, we get a victory in Charlotte. And while I didn't have the greatest of ball games at all, it just shows you the power of having a great teammate and a great veteran. I did finish with 14, 6, and 6, but less than 50% shooting and 3 turnovers. As for KD, well, I told y'all, monster. And listen, I know y'all wanted me to drop 40 on Cooper Flag's head, but it just didn't work out tonight. But guess what? I'm going right back to the grind. After we landed back in DC, KD invited me right back for another Reaper run. And this time, he was not holding back. But what I respect is even after I struggled last night, he still gave me the respect and honored me by letting me continue to run with him. He said despite that, he just was proud of me for taking the shots I took, even though they didn't go in. And when they do go in, my mindset shouldn't change. In this run, I can't lie, KD was hitting some of the most ridiculous shots I've ever faced playing basketball. And while he was hyped about the win, I was just thankful to get this opportunity. And with a new mindset, I'm ready to face the rest of the league. It's still very early in the 2025-26 NBA season, but I figured I should let y'all know what's going on around the league. You should start here in Minnesota with the NBA's leading scorer, Anthony Edwards. I'm telling y'all, he's came out this season on a tear, already averaging over 35 points a game, also leading the Minnesota Timberwolves to a high record. The best record in the NBA belongs to the Houston Rockets. They got rid of Fred VanVleet and drafted a new point guard, but kept the guys like Sengun and Jalen Green and are rolling. For the Thunder, of course they great. They led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's already averaging 33.5 points a game. This time around, they traded for Quentin Grimes in the offseason, a Lou Dort, and a draft pick to the Sixers. Great addition. The Spurs, well, they're second in the West, right behind the Houston Rockets, thanks to the continued emergence of Victor Wembanyama, but also the supporting cast. Not to mention this team's defense is elite. This man Victor is already averaging 5 blocks a game early on in the season. Between the guard play of De'Aaron Fox and Rookie of the Year Stephon Castle, not to mention the 2025 draft picks they got in Bryson Baker and Jalen Archer, the Spurs are a very dangerous team and arguably the most dangerous and dark horse team out in the West. For the worst team, Utah holds that crown easily, as they are 1-8, still struggling with Keontae George and Colin Sexton in the backcourt. They got a numerous amount of draft picks this offseason, but they just can't get them going, including the French big man Pierre Dupont. I mean, what's the point of having a French elite specimen if you don't got guards to be able to get him the ball? And not to mention the defense is terrible, making them an easy lick. I can't wait till we play Utah this season, I can't lie. Down there at the bottom of the West, they in a title fight, a ladder match with the Sacramento Kings, who finally got their second win of the season, but also 2-8 and 14th in the West. And they got a couple of young promising rookies in Deshaun King and Justin Lewis. But if you're a Kings fan and you expecting great things this season, well, you know what they say. Great things come to those who wait. Speaking of waiting, the Sixers waited to the 3rd pick and got Ace Bailey. Y'all know my rival from high school, the bucket getter. Between him, Jared McCain, and the 2nd round draft pick they got named Benson Castillo, the Sixers are in pretty good shape. And if I must say so, Ace Bailey is hooping this season too. Is he up there with me and Coop? Maybe not, but he's hooping in his own right. But somebody that's also hooping is this kid named Sharif James Jr. in Miami. Miami might have got a sneaky stud. He's already averaging 18 and almost a double-double. And between a couple of draft picks they got, Miami seems to be bouncing right back. Speaking of bouncing back, the Raptors are the best team in the East. Number 1 seed as of right now. It's still early, but a little shocking. Most of the people surprised Trey Johnson fell outside of the top 5 and the Raptors stole him, and they added him to their young core. Between him, Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, they're creating some buzz out there up north. Speaking of buzz, well, the Hornets, y'all know the story with them, but I got to speak on Cooper Flag. He's already averaging over 20 points a game and 9 rebounds, clearly asserting himself as the top rookie as of early in the season. As far as the Hornets, well, they're average, but that's better than they were last season already, so salute to them. After taking the L against us, they bounced back quite nicely. But after we got the win against Charlotte, we stumbled a little bit. Right now we sit at 8th in the East, below 500, but to be honest, I feel like we're figuring it out. We stumbled for sure, come across some mishaps, but as of right now, I'm starting to pick up the pace. My scoring is slowly starting to go up. The only thing that I'm lacking is in the assist category. It's kind of hard to get assists on this team because I'm starting to realize most of our elite scorers get their buckets out of isolation. But regardless, I'm having a lot of fun. Look, I'm a rookie and I get to play with one of the greatest players of all time. Not to mention, a bunch of guys my age to make me feel comfortable. and help me get adjusted. But right now it's about getting the team back on track. In this game right here, we playing the New York Knicks again, but this time it's for the in-season tournament cup. First game and we at home. I know a lot of the fans wonder if the NBA players take it serious or not, but me personally, I'm taking it serious. I'm trying to get an early lead in the standings in this in-season tournament so we can get a high seed. As for KJ, my dog still ain't got it going, but besides him, I'm rolling tonight. Not only on offense, but on defense, as I get a swat right here on JB, Jalen Brunson. See, I figured it out. He's gonna try to blow right past me, and I kind of let him and baited him. Then I snuck behind him for the block, and here he go complaining to the refs. This game in particular, I'm having the best night of my life, career night, and we're up by one, a little over a minute left, and I'm giving the ball to our go-to scorer KD to put the game away, but he decided to give it right back to me because I was hot, and I rewarded him with a 3. They gave us a 4-point lead at home late in the game, and for a moment, I felt like I arrived. I felt like my moment finally came, and I didn't have to force it, and all the guys were happy for me. And as we were walking back to the huddle for a timeout, I felt like the game was over, and I just iced it. Nah, not like that, Rook. I got caught reaching and slipping on Jalen Brunson right here. He scooted right past me and pulled up for the mid-range shot. One of the most clutch players in the NBA, if not the most clutch. And on the other side of the ball, I just gave it right back to KD. And this time, he didn't really look back to pass it. He said, I'm going one-on-one against Josh Hart and try to put this game completely away. And that didn't quite work at all, as the Knicks locked us up. Now with no shot clock, the Knicks and Jalen Brunson got a chance to tie the game up, or perhaps go for the lead. And I knew it was going to be on me to get a stop, a crucial stop. No need to look for help. This is a mano-a-mano situation, one-on-one. Jalen Brunson was going to hold the ball down, let the shot clock drain like a savage. And I thought he was going to attack the basket, go for the tie. But I got to be prepared either way. The only problem is, if somebody's sitting on the ball like this, it just feels like your feet get stuck to the ground waiting. By the time he finally made a move, I had woke up my body. Before I knew it, he was pulling up from 3. With a late contest, the ball was in the air. Just like that, JB gave me and hit his signature celebration, but before I got too down on myself, I realized it was 0.9 seconds on the clock. And while this was a clutch shot, pretty savage, he still left enough time on the clock to get a shot up for us. So we called a timeout. Walking back to the huddle, I was sick to my stomach. On my career night, the night I'm really balling out, I might have just gave up the game-winning shot at home in the game of the in-season tournament. But everybody was on their pins and needles, waiting to see what we do after timeout. Look, I already had 34 points on the night. Despite my turnovers, I was having a monster performance, and what a way to cap it off but to go for the shot. That's exactly what KD and Coach said in the huddle. They felt like it was my type of night. So the inbound play was to get me open and throw up a shot as quick as possible with less than 1 second left on the clock. All eyes on us. It was time for me to settle in and be great. With the ball being inbound in Alex Sarr's hands, I came back to the ball after scrambling. Just before the 5-second violation, I caught it, took one dribble and threw it up. And it felt good out of my hands, but it's out of my control now. It felt like the ball was in the air for a lifetime. I couldn't believe it. It actually went in, and it counted. I felt myself having an out-of-body experience right there on the court. Between my teammates and the fans just cheering and hyping, I didn't even know what to do. Excitement was flowing all through my body. A game winner with 0.9 seconds left in the NBA. And as I looked out to the crowd and saw the excitement and cheers, I almost forgot that the play was still under review, but I had no concerns or worries. I knew I got it off in time, and so did everybody else. So they ended up putting the replay on the big screen, and we all got to see it in 4K. And lo and behold, the ball was still in my hands, zeros on the clock. Just like quick, that euphoria was gone, snatched. It's like everything went black and white and just got blurry, and it just faded. All of a sudden, all the Knicks players were celebrating. It was me walking off the court, sad in agony. You know, it's the highs and lows they talk about in the league, but I can't lie, this one hurt. But you know what they say? No matter after a win or a loss, one thing remains the same. Back to the grind. Well, it's safe to say that game-winning fail attempt had me motivated. A way that I've never felt motivated in my life. I went back to practice the next day and took it out on everybody. I don't think I even missed a shot the entire scrimmage session. See, look, a lot of people ask me how I felt after that situation happened. Embarrassed, shocked, despair. I don't know if y'all have ever felt something quite like it. Imagine celebrating, feeling like you just got a victory, and all of a sudden, not only does it come crashing down, it comes crashing down in front of thousands of people. But it's part of the grind, I guess. We had a road trip. We started out in Minnesota, and we faced, as y'all know, the hottest player in the NBA, Anthony Edwards. And trust me and believe, he had no empathy or remorse for what happened to me at home in the last game. He dropped 37 on us. And while I was hooping out myself, I couldn't say the same for the rest of my team, even the vets. Look, I played one of the best games I had following up the 34-point performance, but it wasn't enough. On top of Anthony Edwards and the newly acquired Zion Williamson, the Timberwolves also had drafted some rookies, and they look to be bouncing right back, try to advance further in the Western Conference, maybe even get to the finals, but who knows. And as for KJ, well, same story. My boy's still struggling. If I ever get too down on myself, I kind of remind myself that it could be worse. Look at my dog KJ, but I'm always have his back. But like I said, I hooped out in this game. All the practice work and scrimmage work and the runs with KD, looking like it was starting to pay off in my scoring game. In this game against Minnesota, I was pulling up for mid-range, getting to the basket, doing Malik things, just like I did at Howard. But it's the league, so that wasn't enough. We ended up losing by double digits on the road. And despite my 33-point performance, I did have 5 turnovers, and that's an area of concern that I've had since really high school. We went to Phoenix, and as we all know, we stole KD from them, but more or less they gave him away because the team was blowing up. And they got my guys like Jordan Poole and AJ Johnson. And just like in Washington, they playing free in Phoenix. Look, no expectations. The team blew up. So Poole gets to do whatever he wants, and that was kind of a problem for us early on in the game. We couldn't stop him. We really couldn't stop anybody on their team, including the rookies like Orlando Reeves, who they had a lot of faith in. For our guys, well, as you can see, not everybody was on the same page. If you think that game-winning loss affected me, my guys were still struggling and still hung over from that loss, if you ask me. But eventually, later on in the game, we finally woke up and realized that we got a season to play out. We trying to make the playoffs and do this for the district. So I helped close out this game against Phoenix with timely clutch buckets. Everything was dropping from me at this rate. With a 3-point lead late in the game, we go to the closers. That was between KD, me, or even DeMar DeRozan. For the Suns, well, they still had an issue with that. Jordan Poole wasn't quite the closer they were looking for. But I got the job done for our team. With 39 seconds left, I gave us a 5-point lead and officially helped ice the game. And I wasn't alone tonight. Finally, my guy KD got out of a little slump he had for a couple games, gave us 25 and 13. But a part of the grind is also dealing with injuries and other guys having to step up. See, look, DeMar DeRozan was going to be out with a toe injury, which meant we had to call up one of the guys that we signed undrafted, a Japanese point guard named Ryusei. My guy is all of about 6'1", and I don't even know if he's 160 pounds if he's soaking wet. But that didn't really matter too much when he got in the scrimmage with us. For our next game, when he realized he was getting more minutes, he started to be way more aggressive. And KJ as well. See, it's time for the other rookies to step up on his team, not just me. And Ryusei, I cannot lie, he had a strap. My man was hooping like Stephen Curry in practice, and I know y'all gonna laugh at that, but I had no other way to describe it. He had quick handles and speed, and honestly, he had me excited all scrimmage long. And peep this. Next game, we went back home, for me, Atlanta, where we played the Hawks. And while I played in the stadium before, it just wasn't my night. It was one of them games in the league where nothing goes right. Shots is bricking. And I was forcing it a little bit. I mean, I had family in the crowd and friends and a lot of my high school teammates, and nothing went right. Even DeRozan was hating on me from the sidelines and disappointment. So we ended up getting blown out by the Hawks pretty badly, but with that, meant more minutes for the other guys like Ryusei, and as I mentioned before, his size was going to be a problem. The Hawks had drafted a couple rookies, one of them named Malik Duckworth, who took it right to Ryusei every time he was matched up against him, but One thing I gotta say about bro, he had a motor like I haven't seen before. He didn't take it lightly. He came right back at Malik and sprayed it on him. While it wasn't worth much and we were still losing the game in high fashion, I saw something that I liked out of him. No back down. If somebody went at him, he coming right back in his own way. He not gonna post you up. He not gonna dunk on you, but he gonna get that get back for sure. In the second half, and it was Trae Young and the Hawks show. While the Hawks weren't the greatest team at all, some nights just ain't your night. On top of me missing shots, turnovers, I also got dunked on, and it's kind of when I realized it was done for me. I had one of my worst performances of the season to date, and it wasn't that long before I got benched, but in a good way, I got to observe once again. And this time, my guy KJ finally seemed like he got rid of the bad breaks and started hooping and locking in on his game. And for Ryu, well, he didn't have an all-time performance at all. He only got up a couple of shots, 2 threes, but regardless, it seemed like these guys were finally finding the NBA footing. And as for me, well, I had a lot of making up to do to my teammates. With DeMar out, and with KD in and out the lineup, dealing with old age, it meant it was time for me to lock all the way in. And trust and believe I did just that. Peep this. We went to Orlando for our second game in the in-season tournament cup. Orlando was a really good team already, but after acquiring Devin Booker in the offseason, made them really dangerous. But with KD and me in the lineup, we felt like we could take on anybody. And my confidence was skyrocketing. Speaking of skyrocketing, I'm getting to the lane with ease against the Magic. See, shout out to Wendell Carter, but he's not much of an interior force to us. And at this point in the season, we're about 20 games in, and it seems like we're finally starting to click between the young guys. Me, Bug, Alex Sarr, finally get a rhythm for each other. And Bug got inserted to the starting lineup for DeMar DeRozan. And it seemed like everything worked out after that. Watch this move right here. Hit Jalen Suggs with a nasty behind the back Euro step lay with the left side. I had 25, 6, and 10 that night and only missed one shot. We came back home and played against the lowly Chicago Bulls, and I seen a couple familiar faces. One being my guy Anthony Crawford that went to Texas when I played him at Howard. Another freshman that turned pro. Shout out to him, but the Bulls just wasn't it. But let me hold my tongue, because I have to admit, despite my early shot making, the Bulls came out and kind of blitzed us. It's one of them trap games they talk about. Sounds kind of funny to say because we the Wizards, but it's a new regime. Sabonis got traded to the Bulls in the offseason too, so obviously they were a threat, but to be honest, we might have a new nickname, the Walk Down Wizards. No lead formed against us shall prosper. As we walked the Bulls right on down in the second half, and before you know it, this game was nip and tuck, tight. One possession ball game going into the fourth quarter. Alonzo Ball, who thankfully had recovered from his injury from a couple years ago, was no match for me tonight. And as for my guy KJ, look at the confidence he got now. Look, all the laughter and the jokes that people clowning him, it's paying off now that he stayed down and stayed true. Now he's hooping. When he's hooping, KD's hooping, and my guy Ryu comes in the game and not only gets steals, but finishes in transition with an and one through NBA contact. Oh yeah, we feeling different right now. See, our team, the Wizards, we're starting to run off a streak. And as for me, well, the turnovers are a sore spot, but I finished with 28 and 12. And as far as the team, well, we ended up blowing out the Chicago Bulls, and you would have assumed it was never close. Remember what I said earlier about rivals? I don't think that just stopped at Cooper Flag. See, Pete, Dylan Harper, you know, the freshman from Rutgers that turned pro? Well, Brooklyn got him at number 4. And between his last 5 games and my last 5 games, according to the media, we've been 2 of the best point guards in the NBA, arguably. And for Dylan, there was rumors that he didn't appreciate the Wizards passing up on him. He felt like he was better than me. And while I disagree heavily, it's time to prove it. In our first match of the season, we're playing at home, and right now we're riding a 4-game win streak, and everybody's clicking on all cylinders. For the Brooklyn Nets, surprisingly, they having a solid start to their season too. Between Dylan, Cam Thomas, Derek Queen, a couple other rookies in the rotation, they were figuring it out. But the head of the snake was number 0. See, me and Dylan, we're having a clash of all clashes. Clash of titans, as they say. In transition, my man Dylan was getting steals and finishing through contact. Yeah, my contact. I tried to go for the block and that didn't work. So I tried to come right back at him. That didn't work. He stole the ball out of my hands and, well, he wasn't fast enough. I caught up to him and got a block. That's the type of game it was. Back and forth. Example, I just got a block on him in transition in the same possession. He buries a wide open 3 because I got caught lacking and being tired. On the other side, I was getting my way in anywhere I wanted to. But I have to admit, as an overall team, the Nets just seemed to come out a little more hungrier than us and smacked us in the face in the second half. And I have to take some accountability. I let Dylan Harper torch us. Before you know it, we're down by 20 points in the fourth quarter at home. And Dylan Harper had a career night on me. He finished with 34, 9, and 8, 4 steals. And while I had a pretty solid performance, clearly wasn't enough. And now, we had a game right back at Brooklyn, one of those back-to-back home-home situations, where I had a chance to right my wrongs, so I came out ultra-aggressive. Look, for the first time in my basketball career, I'm going against a guy consistently that is making me get up for the game, and really making me and challenging me. See, we might have been rivals at this point, but I got to shout out to Dylan. Not only did he cook us on the road, now he's at home doing the same thing in the first half. So I remember he was at the free throw line one time, and I had a chance to think to myself, how do I want to make an impact on this game? So I gave it to KJ on the transition fast break, thinking I can get a quick assist, and my dog, bro. He just can't get out of his own way sometimes, man. I can't make it up. But it's all about the next play mentality. I had to remind him that we all brothers on this team. Before the end of the first half, started to make an imprint on the game. Gave us the lead right back. Wait, and that's one thing I forgot to mention. Kevin Durant was out this game. See, KD was dealing with some nagging injuries and age and decided to sit out sometimes on the back-to-back. Don't tell the league that. They frown upon it. And on the defensive side of the ball, I found myself getting caught in ball screens with Derek Queen, the big fella from Maryland. Y'all know I wanted him on my team, but guess who I got on my team? KJ Turner. Guy that finally is waking up and putting a bad place behind him for the most part. At the end of the first half, Dylan Harper got off for another bucket, and the ball was in my hands with the clock winding down. 2-point lead, and a chance to stretch it. So I took my time, Jalen Brunson style. Hit Dylan with a couple of hypnotic dribbles to lull him to sleep, a couple of tweens, and got right to my spot, downhill. Had him sleeping a little bit, and finished inside, stretched the lead to 4 at halftime. You'll never believe what happened coming out of halftime. On the break, KJ flew up for the cradle dunk, like he was straight out of the 1980s or the 90s. This man was finally getting his confidence up, so much so that he was flexing his non-existent muscles. Besides that, there was somebody else on Brooklyn that had their confidence up too. Another rookie they drafted named TJ Hamilton. He was stretching the court out for him off the bench and getting threes up. And every time we tried to spread the lead, Brooklyn stayed right there, within arm's reach. Beginning of the fourth quarter, it was time to really put the Nets away. So my guy Mylan Hartfield, my other rookie, did an insane dunk too. I don't know what's getting into my guys tonight. For the Nets, it was another rookie named Shiloh Jenkins Jr. When Ryo checked into the game, it was another situation of mismatched basketball. They attacked him every single time because of his height. And like I mentioned before, my boy Ryo had that mindset of getting back. But that's a little dangerous game to play when you're not that tall and you go on limited minutes. So I was on the bench watching him struggle. Before you know it, the lead was right back down to 3 in a couple of minutes. And they wouldn't stop there. It was getting so bad, man. I was hoping my dog Ryo just hung on for dear life because the threes would not start raining down from this one kid. When I checked back into the game, I realized it was a mano-a-mano finish. Me versus Dylan. He got me the last game, but we ended this time in the fourth quarter. And now, it's time for me to even the series up and make this a true rivalry. So with a 1-point ball game and 6 minutes left, it's pretty much nip and tuck, down to the wire. I hit Dylan with a nasty snatchback, pull, crazy bucket from 3. Make this a 4-point game. I celebrated, but it's never time to celebrate against this team or against this guy, I'm starting to realize. I actually ended up strapping him up on defense and forced a bad shot. And after he missed, I got out in transition, got a wide open dunk, stretch it to a 6-point game. On the other side, just when I thought the Nets were going to crumple, then Dylan Harper got open for a corner 3. It was my lazy defense and cut the lead down to 3. 4 minutes left. And after I rushed the shot right here, the Nets got out in transition. And I was trying to hustle back, but I went in for a reach-in. Bad decision. Cam Johnson found John Collins for the dunk. It was a 1-point game. And I found my guy KJ Turner open for the 3 to stretch it back to 4. It's all about trusting your guys late in the games, instilling confidence. And while I'm a rookie, that's something I've been knowing since I've been playing basketball. With a 4-point game, they gave the ball to Cam Thomas. Y'all know, Mr. Buckets. He pulled for a disgusting three-pointer. That was all locked up by Bilal. The other side, it was time to put this game away. So I ran a pick and roll, step back for the mid-range shot, and buried it. With a 6-point game with 1 minute and 45 seconds left, I knew it was all but over. Dylan Harper had other plans. He cut the lead down to 4. The ball in my hands, it was time for me to make a play. I ended up getting it right back in the corner and pulled for 3 right in front of the Nets bench, but it didn't go in. 4-point game, Dylan Harper working me. I'm staying my ground. And while I'm thinking I'm locking up, he gets a little bit of separation and pulls it, but he did miss it. So we get the ball back with a chance to really put the game away. The Nets were supposed to foul us, but they didn't. And I ended up throwing a bad shot up and missing. Out of transition, it was the big fella, Derek Queen, handling the rock, finding Dylan Harper in the corner, and he buried it to cut the lead right down to 1 with 18 seconds left. And the time rolling, the Nets ended up having to foul us. Played a free throw game. They gave the ball to Bilal. He ended up knocking down both free throws to stretch it out to a 3-point game. And here we go. 3-point game. The Nets down with a chance to tie. Everybody in Barclays Center on their feet, waiting to see what the young guys do. As for me, this is like deja vu all over again. I'm guarding the guy that's probably going to take the last shot. So I sit down on Dylan Harper and force him off the 3-point line, and he passes it. But with 8 seconds left, he gets the ball right back. So it's time for me to sit down again. Similar to me, all he needed was a little bit of room. He buried the 3 right in my face to tie the game up with 0.7 on the clock. Clutch. It's like I had a magnet for getting scored on for the win. I can't lie. In that moment, while I was sick to my stomach again, I've been here before. So I walked back to the huddle and said, you know what? I got 0.7 on the clock this time. And unlike last time, I'm for sure getting the ball and I'm not putting it on the ground before I take the shot. I told myself that. Bub was arguing that he should get the ball. He's the second-year guy, but Coach really wasn't hearing that. So at 0.7 in a tie ball game, I got nothing to lose. It's either we win, we go to OT and duel it out. So I told the guys in the huddle, we going home. I stretched and got myself ready. KJ on the inbound, I knew we couldn't screw this up, so I got wide open. I got free, caught the ball off the inbound, and let it go. Everything looked good out of my hands, and I knew the ball was out in time. I felt it. I was watching the ball in the air, floating, trying not to get blinded by the lights. Overtime it is. And in overtime, Dylan Harper came out hot, but so did I. It was a little back and forth action between us and the Nets. But ultimately, I'll be honest, we had the upper hand. See, I kept forcing the pressure down low in between me and my guy KJ, who finally was starting to get it together and rolling. We were able to close out Brooklyn towards the end of OT. When up 4, I called for a screen at the top of the key, and I had Dylan on the ISO. And when they came to double, I swung, and the ball found KJ in the corner to give us a 7-point lead with about 30 seconds left to stick the dagger in Brooklyn. And look, I know my guy KJ's had some laughable moments, but he came through when needed. Without our best player on the floor, we came into Brooklyn and got the job done. And as for me and the Wizards, well, we off to a solid start on the season. Took some rough losses, but overall, it's looking very much promising. But after these last 2 games against Brooklyn, it's taught me one thing. That guy Dylan Harper's going to be around for a while, just like me. And while I thought the rivalry was between me and Cooper, nah, I had to drop 38 on 27 shots just to get the victory tonight and avenge the loss early. So this rivalry is just getting started. And as for KJ, well, he might be an emerging player on our team. So it's important for me to keep his confidence up. And my boy was talking my face off, I ain't gonna lie. I was just trying to get back to the locker room, so eventually I had to hit him with the swift walk away. Nonetheless, I need my dog ready to go. I'm ready to put the league on notice. In the beginning of the season, we got off to a slow start, but after a few weeks, about a month in, 2 months into the season, we found our stride. We had some West Coast teams coming to our building, and we took care of business. Yeah, the Kings are pretty lowly, I can admit. They added some vets like Fred VanVleet and Jonas Valanciunas, but clearly that hasn't helped out at all. In the beginning of the season, while the Kings are down, I'm up. I'm averaging just under 20 points a game, 7 assists and 8 rebounds. I'll let y'all judge me. But in the meantime, I'm gonna let my guy KJ go off too. See, his averages are slowly coming up as his minutes are coming up. The coaching staff finally sees the potential we got in him off the bench. And we got a nice ebb and flow to this team. I don't have to be ball dominant. See, that's the difference between me in college, me and the pros. Back at Howard, I had to dish the rock, get the boards, lock up the best players, and score the ball at an efficient clip. On this team, well, the difference is I could be a little more aggressive in the scoring column and not have to worry about getting everybody involved in the passing game because we got scorers like KD who can really get their own bucket at any time. See, the thing about KD is it's very unselfish. On this play right here, I tried to get him to score, but he kept passing the ball back to me. And in this game against the Kings, well, I got off again. 33 points, 5 assists, and 7 rebounds on very efficient shooting. And I'll let you guys judge me again, but in my humble opinion, I'm on a hot streak. And we took that on the West Coast to LA, facing one of the premier players in the NBA, Luka. Listen, we know Luka's one of the most elite players in the NBA. High volume scorer, assists, rebounds, but the one stigma on him is that he can't guard. And even me as a rookie, I took full on advantage. And I knew even on the help side, Austin Reeves couldn't really guard too much either, so I knew there was no reason for me not to go off this game. The one thing I had to focus on was making sure he didn't go off for a 50-point or 60-point performance on me, but I don't think I had really too much reason to worry about that. The whole game plan was to blow by their guards and get to the paint and force their defenders to make a play, which they did occasionally, but overall, I would say we would complete our objective. They even had Steven Adams on this team, which was a surprise to me, but Luka, he had a solid performance against me, I can't lie. Not all the buckets were on me, but it was my responsibility. But as for me, well, you can check the stats at the end of the game. I went off again. And at this point in the season, I'm kind of showing the people that I might be the Rookie of the Year favorite. Like, look, I know the guy out there in Charlotte is putting up monster numbers and playing great defense. And I know the guy in Brooklyn is putting up good numbers too. Tell me this, who's getting you 42 points, a career high by the way, 8 assists and 8 rebounds on the road against a premier player and a premier team? I'll wait for that answer. If it's not Malik Mills. After getting the dub in LA against the Lakers, we found ourselves rolling a little bit, finding a stride. So we took that back out east to play the Detroit Pistons, a team that's coming up. Everybody's aware of the Thompson twin, Asard, and Cade, some of the other guys that got on the team. But for us, we felt like this would be a good measuring stick. For me, Cade is a player I kind of look up to a little bit. My similar build, play style. So I knew this was a chance for me to showcase my abilities against his. See where I'm at, measure my levels. And earlier it was Cade showing me the levels and showing me the ropes. Everybody kind of believes Cade is on that verge of being an MVP type player. And look at the shoulder he just gave me to the chest. Threw me off like a rag doll. I tried to fight back in the frame, but it didn't work. And early on, the Pistons were kind of blitzing us a little bit. And after years of being putrid and bottom of the barrel, after the championship years, early on in the 2000s, the Pistons are ready to come back and show the world that this might be the year they go all the way. And if it was up to Cade, they just might. This game was close towards the end. Mano-a-mano matchup. I decided to go right back at Cade towards the end of the game to get my own mid-range bucket. We up to it, about 2 minutes left. Crunch time. Cade, he had no intentions of passing the ball. He only saw food when he saw me in the paint. But I finally got to stop. We didn't do nothing with it on offense, and of course, he came back down and hit a 3, get the Pistons a 1-point lead late in the game. This is where big-time players make big-time plays, and we knew exactly who to get the ball to. KD. KD put us up 1, and Cade cooked me, had me jumping for joy, but guess what? Smoked the layup, much to my disbelief. And on the other end, it was up to KD to give us a secure lead. He could have put us up 3 easily, but he decided to pull for 3 and cash. That man KD is a bucket, and in my opinion, one of the best players to ever play the game. Gave us a 4-point lead, and the Pistons quickly raced down court and cut it to 2, and then after that, they almost tied it, but Jaden Ivey missed it. And at that point, it was up to us once again to stretch the lead out. The ball in KD's hands once again. It was time for him to make a play, but he decided to pass it to me instead. So with the clock winding down, I get to my sweet spot, mid-range, hit a cross, and get to the basket and finish with the lay. Give us a 4-point lead, and ice the game and stick the dagger. And on the road, we picked up yet another victory early on in the season. And now, there's no excuses. We're showing some of the best teams that we can compete. And as for me, I had 21, 7 assists to 12 rebounds, but guess what? 0 turnovers. That's a difference. For Cade, he had more points than me, but I filled up the stat sheet just a little bit better. And while I don't think I'm a better player, I feel like I'm emerging as one of the top guards in the overall league. Is there a chance with our record that I can make the All-Star game? Maybe. But maybe I'm getting too ahead of myself. Look, speaking of All-Star game, we're about 45 games into the season. The All-Star weekend is right around the corner. Matter of fact, this is our last game heading into All-Star break. And we playing the lowly Utah Jazz. Y'all remember them. Team that got all the draft picks but just couldn't put it together. That don't got nothing to do with us. See, early on in this game, we showed the Utah Jazz about the levels that there is in this league. Young guys against young guys, sure, but we have a nice group of veterans. Obviously KD, but when you got a guy like me who, in my humble opinion, I move like a vet. I play like I've been here before and I just get to my spots and score. No need for me to force it. If I could catch and shoot, if they leaving me open. We ended up blowing out the Utah Jazz. Spoiler alert. Hope y'all knew that. But for the Utah Jazz, they got some promise. Look, they got guys like Sincere Cotton, Pierre Dupont, and Amir Callaway. Some guys that I'm very fond of because of college days and the draft process. But nonetheless, Utah, they got a long way to go. We're going to watch out for y'all, though. Maybe in the next 5 to 10 years. But right now, I'm proving why the Washington Wizards might be a threat as I cooked Keontae George and finished with my weak hand, the right. And look, if it wasn't me cooking, I know who to get a ball to. Number 7. He don't even need screens for real, but when he gets them and gets free, say goodnight. And I got a question. What is stopping the Washington Wizards in 2025-26 season from going all the way? I mean, look, we got superstar talent. Then we got guys off the bench, young guys, rookies, in fact, coming in giving you great minutes. And then you got me, kind of just a mixture of both, an upcoming superstar and a rookie. Speaking of which, my boy KJ was exhausted. Career high night, by the way. But I look at us, no pun intended, as a bunch of rising stars. As you may have expected, I was invited to compete in the Rising Stars Challenge during All-Star Weekend. And while I thought I might have been an All-Star level player, I wasn't, and that's okay. I got to compete with my guys that I came up with through the draft process and some in college. And obviously I wasn't alone. And look, there's a huge plot twist coming up, but just peep. On my team, it was me, Trey Johnson at the 2, Dangerous out of Toronto, Sharif James Jr. out of Miami, dog. And down low, Cooper Flag. Look, rivalries off the court, but during the Rising Stars Challenge, that's my guy. And down low was his college teammate, Kaman Malawat. But look, here's the kicker. For the other team, it was the sophomore guys like Jared McCain and Alex Sarr, my teammate. Then, Victor Wembanyama, and I get it. Look, third-year player, what is he doing? One of the best players in the NBA. Apparently, they didn't have enough players to fill out the roster properly, and he volunteered himself. He wanted to be one of the first players to win Rising Stars MVP, All-Star Game MVP, and win League MVP in the same season. And who was going to stop him from doing that? Not me. But I was just going to get to my spots, find my teammates, and have a good time out here. For me and Cooper, first time we playing with each other. And look, I found my guy flying, threw the lob to him. You would have thought we was AAU teammates. The 2 best players in the class on the same team? Man, if it wasn't Victor Wembanyama on the other side, this might have been a blowout. But regardless, we decided to put on a show for the fans. Put any differences aside I may have in resentment. And as for the other guys on the team, well, this rookie class might be one of the best classes for years to come. And I ain't even mention Ace Bailey off the bench. Yeah, a top 5 pick like him, not even in the starting lineup. That should tell you everything you need to know. Because guys like Trey Johnson been having a monster season. And hey, my role this game was to find the best players on the court, which was dang near everybody. And when they didn't want to shoot, I got it. I'm gonna attack the basket too. Being this is my first experience at an All-Star Weekend, I had a lot of fun. And what's crazy is, I can feel that the guys I'm playing with in the Rising Stars Challenge are gonna be my All-Star teammates for years to come. Just wait on it. And as for the team, well, we was cooking, and coach decided, let me get some rest for the rest of the second half and watch the rest of the team cook. We got some other rookies out there that need shine. So guys like Derek Queen and VJ Edgecombe got in the game and got to get their stats up. But the guy that ended up taking over in the second half and kind of got everybody by surprise was the big from Utah that I've mentioned before, Pierre Dupont. See, my guy could stretch the floor, and he was obviously tall enough to attack the basket. Not to mention, he was pretty quick, and he actually had a decent handle. Out of France. Apparently, he's Victor's protege. Handpicked him. So for us, it was a treat having him on our side. Spraying down threes. He didn't miss a single shot this game, earning him Rising Stars Game MVP. Kind of out of nowhere and unexpected with all the talent on the floor, but my guy was a lottery pick, a top 5 pick. Utah Jazz may have them a gem, but as the Rising Stars game came to a close, there was one more event that was being hosted that would really have us getting a lot of fun in. And this game was in New York City. To close out All-Star Weekend, before we got back, the NBA was introducing a new concept, the Rookie Showcase. And for me, well, I grew up playing NBA 2K 13, 14, 15 when I was younger. And I remember they used to have the Rookie Showcase in 2K, but they never had it in the NBA. Well, imagine all the best rookies on one NBA court for the fans to see. Not only is it being broadcasted, but the fans were literally around the court while we were playing. And obviously you had the popular rookies, but then you had the rookies that were quietly putting up solid numbers, playing their role on teams. I came out and set the tone for my squad. Got a bucket early, let the crowd get into it, but of course, who had to one up me? Mr. Capture the Flag himself. Torpedo 360 dunk over Pierre had the crowd going nuts. Man, the energy was there for sure. So I tried to help my guy Pierre match it by throwing him a lob. It's a little soft, but hey, anything counts. On defense, the energy was high and the fans were packing the court, so we got a stealing. I had to fly back in transition over some fans to get the dunk. Fans were trying to lead the court, but I ain't got patience. I saw the rim and wanted to make a statement. I knew it would make for a clean photo. Somebody snapped it. As far as the game goes, well, nobody was really trying to keep score or keep stats. We were just having a good time, showcasing talent, i.e. the name of the game, right? Look, this game obviously has no impact on our team record, no impact on the championship. But for me, it was a chance to showcase to the NBA, fans, Twitter, whoever cares, that I can get to it, just like Coop. And Coop had the same mission I did. And I was just attacking some of the guys in my class, letting them know this is what it's going to be like for years to come. We all just getting started. I was looking like a creative player out there, like I'm playing mycareer or something, getting shots at any level. And for Coop, well look, anytime I scored, it seemed like he came back down court and had to one-up me. This man flew like a helicopter, and once again, the guy Pierre was put on another poster, and this time he looked like he was scared for his life, and he tried to play it off quick on the other end. So on the other end, I tried to get him involved again by throwing him an easy lob, and he smoked the dunk. So bro said, nah, forget that. Next possession cleared out. One-on-one isolation on Coop. Capture the flag himself. And guess what? I don't know if y'all have ever seen an Amazon warehouse or got an Amazon package, but what I mean, he got boxed up. The guy that actually ended up having a great performance though was Deshaun King from Sacramento Kings. Good dude, up and coming player, but the best performance of the night might have came from yours truly. If somebody was counting stats, I know I had over 35 points. I was getting any shot I wanted. I was showcasing for the fans. I was having a good time in New York City. But it was time after this game to hit the road back with my squad and make a playoff push. See where we at.
Lee, lock in, bro. I got dudes in my class talking about Cooper Flag better than your brother. And saying KD should have went to the Hornets instead. Look, you and I both know you're the best player in this class. You got another month left in the season. That's it. Go take what's yours. Oh, and Mom said she sent you some of her apple pie and peach cobbler in the mail, too.
As we headed out for another road trip, we in the month of March, and as Lil Bro said, time is winding down, and this is the time where teams need to be clicking on all cylinders. I guess the Mavericks got that message, because they destroyed us in the first game in the road trip. They had a rookie too named Aaron Jordan, but but he was hooping like Aaron Gordon or Michael Jordan. Pick one. We went to Toronto up north, and again, I don't know when they got this good, but we struggled. We tried to get a win for DeMar DeRozan back in his squad, but he ain't one of himself. Bro was throwing up bricks. At one point, it was just bad. I was on the sideline, dick watching. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm on the sideline watching Grady Dick get off on my team, and more specifically Rio. There's nothing we could do about it. Never in my life would I thought I'd be in the NBA, worried about Dick, but here we are. Toronto would end up smoking us. By the fourth quarter, we could have hopped on the plane, bro. And before we know it, that 24-19 record turned into 31-34. And as we approach towards the end of the season, our playoff lives were at stake, slowly fading away. We needed a game where we could capture it back and get momentum to close out the season strong and avoid the play-in. So this game against the Philadelphia 76ers, the team who was also figuring it out as well, was important. And it wasn't easy. They had this rookie named Benson Castile who was, I ain't gonna lie, playing some of the best defense I'd never seen being played on KD one-on-one. And as for us, well, the Sixers had our number early. There was one point in the game where the coach switched up the lineup. Look, Pete, while I've been having a solid season, the lineup change has been something that we've probably been needing. Shout out to my guy DeMar DeRozan, but offensively, he hasn't been able to produce as high of the levels we want. So with me, producing at the level I'm producing at, we need everybody to be on the same page. Insert Bub Carrington. His minutes have increased. Same thing with KJ. And in this game in particular, coaching staff played them both more minutes along with me. And between us three in the backcourt, man, we had the game on ice, early, rolling. Guys were attacking the basket like Joel wasn't there. But see, our big Alex, he's bringing Joel out the paint, allowing us to get easy access. While the Sixers did fight back, I admit that. Primarily because we tried to get DeMar involved, and finally he ended up making a bucket. But his game is a little old school. Back down, mid-range, take your time, isolation, and a big 2026, bro. It's not perfect, but we try to get our vets as much involved as possible because obviously we need them in the locker room. But the best form of our offense is when the ball is swinging around that perimeter and the paint is getting driven into. I found my guy Alex Sarr in the wing for the three. And in this game in particular, the lineup that got us the most success was me, KD, Alex, Bub, and KJ. Pretty solid if you ask me. Would that be the lineup going forward? Well, I'm not the head coach or the coaching staff, so that's not up to me. But in this game, look, Sixers had Ace Bailey. Straight up took KD on this possession. I got to give him his props. KD wasn't taking that lightly. Bro came right back, sprayed down a three, and you already know the result after this. It was a mission complete. This man KD went on a personal run to take control of the Sixers himself. Him and Joel Embiid had a little history. Maybe a few years ago, I remember watching the Nets and Sixers game. Regardless of that, I helped close out this game and give us a double-digit lead and finally secure us a victory. And at 32-34 in the season, we got just enough time to figure this thing out and close the season out properly and get us a spot in the playoffs for the first time in a while for Washington. I finished the game with 13 assists, a career high. As you guys know, I've been attacking the basket more and scoring, but now, with Bub Carrington in the lineup, I could do more of just that. And while DeMar was my guy, the coaching staff made a valid decision to have him come off the bench to close the season out and figure this lineup out. We were in a game in Memphis, playing the Grizzlies, and y'all know what that means. We see 12, Ja Morant. And I ain't gonna lie, there was this crazy looking dude that they had on the court named Tyler James, I believe. Bro had a Birdman look with dreads and a LeBron build. Regardless of what he had going on, my assignment was Ja Morant, and early on, I got caught sleeping and I got my guy KD slammed on, postered, annihilated. It was like watching your friends stumble and fall and there was nothing you could do about it, but it was really your fault. I let Ja get straight to the basket, and I salute KD for even trying to come for the help side block, but it was halfway through the jump he realized he was not getting up there with Ja. It's a different air. The only thing that meant was good luck, because KD take everything personal, from Twitter to the NBA. So next time he got the ball back, he took his time, got to an isolation on Jaren Jackson, and said, "I'm gonna go to work." So we watched. Bro faded away in the corner for a three, and when he hit this, I said I knew Memphis would say goodnight. It was over for everybody.
We just kept feeding KD the ball, and he kept feeding the ball to the rim, through the net. And the lead increased and increased. See, Memphis fans, cover your eyes. Unfortunately, y'all are having a down year, a terrible year. And there's rumors that the Memphis Grizzlies might even trade John Moran in the offseason or something. Figure this out. But as for us, well, we picked the right time to get rolling. As I already mentioned, the lineup change has done wonders. At this point, we done rallied back from below 500, back above waters. And against John the Grizzlies, found my stride, continued to gain my confidence as the playoffs approach. And it started to be a real question. I didn't make the All-Star team, but my numbers have gone up ever since the All-Star break. A lot of people say there's a chance I could make an All-NBA team. I don't believe the hype. I try to be humble, trying to be focused, but we had another game, another day at the office where I finished with a near triple-double. 18 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds.
And as my rookie season draws near a close, how would y'all evaluate my game? So we went back home and had to properly close our season out playing the Charlotte Hornets. Look, this wasn't the last game of the season, but it was close to it. And we had a unique opportunity. With a win here, not only would it secure our playoff spot, but it'll actually push the Hornets out of playoff contention. So that only upped the stakes for this rivalry, made it even more intense. At home, we got a chance to send these boys home for good. So I came out gangbusting, hitting everything. KD had the same mindset, same mission, same goal. Between me and him, we were keeping up with the Charlotte Hornets attack, but obviously they weren't gonna go out sad. So guys like LaMelo Ball came out shooting, and Cooper Flag blocked my shot. He came back on the other end, facilitated, got it back from Brandon Miller, and said, let me go one-on-one with KD as a rookie. And he attacked him, finished with the lay, threw some contact, and almost tried to poster us on the next play, but thankfully we had some resistance there. Speaking of resistance, Alex sent his shot off the glass. I caught it and pushed it in transition. Tried to go right past LaMelo, which I did, and finished with the flush. And I'm going to be honest, Charlotte, well, I guess we might be a rivalry because me and Cooper Flag, not really a match for us. Now, they were keeping up with us in the first half, I'll admit. And they got talent. I don't think it's a talent thing. Maybe it's coaching. Maybe it's just putting it all together. Maybe we accelerated our timeline a little too fast. I mean, our ball movement this game was so crisp. I would be in the corner. I could be at the top of the key. I could be on the wing. It didn't matter. If I had a little bit of space, I was putting it up. I really had nothing to lose this game, but everything to prove. An early timeout by the Hornets because we were cutting the onslaught on them. Later on in the game, they tried to fight back a little bit stronger as LaMelo finally got it going. As I was a little lackadaisical on defense. When I was on the bench, it was Ryu trying to get it going for our team and giving us some good minutes. And I ain't gonna lie, my dog was gonna shoot over no matter who it was. And I respect it, but I slowly started to see our lead diminish while I was on the bench. So I couldn't help but itch to get back in the game because this is a game we need to win. No need to let this game fade away and let the Hornets sneak in the playoffs when we can slam the door shut. Wise man once said, you kill a gnat with a sledgehammer. If you wonder what that means, well, I got no clue. Nah, I'm joking, but basically, when you got a chance to put something down like a gnat, yeah, you can slap it with your hands or spray it, but you want to make sure it never gets back up. So use whatever you got to use. And in this game, everybody was hitting shots on our team, and it took the Hornets a valiant effort to keep up. And one thing I haven't really mentioned too much yet is the fact that it's the end of the season and there's been a real debate over who's the rookie of the year. Cooper has been averaging solid numbers himself, scoring, assisting, rebounding at a high rate, and his defensive numbers are off the charts. As for me, well, y'all saw my stats. I do just about everything too. Maybe I average a little more turnovers. Maybe I don't get as much rebounds as him. But at the end of the day, mano y mano, in this game in particular, I'm putting on a heck of a show, leaving the fans and the voters with something to think on. And at the end of the day, if we win this game, it's going to be one rookie going to the playoffs and one that's not. Speaking of rookies, it was a rookie-on-rookie matchup with KJ and this guy Xavier Tate on Charlotte. He had my boy KJ locked up, and on the other end, I ain't going to lie, he took off in the air with this alley-oop. My boy KJ is going to put up a dogfight no matter who it is and no matter what happens. Either he's getting dunked on or he's doing the dunking. Speaking of which, I had this man Trey Man on skates, pulled up for the midi. Buckets. I mean, I can't toot my own horn, I know it, but I'm out here really putting on a performance and hyping up the crowd, and I feel like I got one of the tightest handles in the NBA early on. As far as the mid-range game, well, y'all been knowing that since I've been in high school. But now,
I got a chance to take it to another level, go up another stage. I'm putting on one of the best performances of my life with a chance for my team, the Washington Wizards, to go back to the playoffs for the first time in I don't really know how long. That boy Cooper just went straight through KJ Turner to get an and one. And look, I put my hands up. Drewski, he good. KJ put his hands up too, like he got it. I got no arguments. It's between me and him. That's up for y'all to decide. But for me, when I leave this game tonight, sore, ice pack, whatever it may be, I want y'all to know I gave it my all. I had Brandon Miller on the isolation and I ain't really getting nowhere. But that's cool. I pulled up for the no sportsmanship jumper, and once again, I closed the game out with a mid-range. We ended up blowing the Charlotte Hornets out in the second half, and I got to chill on the bench with my guy Ryu after dropping a career high, 44. Yeah, it got like that. And as for the season, well, we ended up completing the 9-game win streak. Actually, it will go to 12 going into the last game of the season, game 82. It's the last game of the regular season of my rookie year, and as I mentioned before, we had a tremendous win streak, and I shorted it. It's actually 14 heading into the last game of the season. A 14-game win streak, unheard of for the Washington Wizards. We finished at 5th in the East, and this game didn't really mean much. We could win or lose it, so the coaching staff decided to rest the starters against the Utah Jazz, and shout out to Utah, man. They actually had a good rally to close the season out. Didn't play too shabby. Matter of fact, played pretty well against us, if I must say so myself. My rookie season is over with. And now, I'm getting ready to head to the playoffs for the first time in my life. Things I used to dream about as a kid are finally happening. And as this game was coming to a close in particular, my guy KJ couldn't help but get a little clip of himself in for TikTok. This man always doing something. Utah Jazz would actually end up winning this game, but it ended our win streak, and that was fine. We still had all the momentum in the world heading into the first round. Before the playoffs started, I decided to go back home for a little drive, and I got a voice memo on Instagram from a dude I used to go to school with. I barely remembered him, but he remembered me.
Yo, hey Malik, it's Marcel. I used to go to Woodland Middle School with you, but I used to hoop with the basketball team at the school, but I played football and ran a little track. Anyways, bro, you inspired me. Watching you come out from where we from and make the league, even though I don't hoop, it is still motivation to me, man. Look, I don't know if you know, but I just finished my senior year, and I need to make a college decision, man. I'm officially a 5-star QB now, and I got offers from every school in the country. You know how crazy that is? Anyway, my mind is telling me to go to a big-time school and sit for a year and get NFL ready. But my heart wants me to start my freshman year and lead a team to the college football playoffs. I need your help, though. Where should I commit?
Well, the time has finally arrived. It's playoffs. I got my hair corn-rolled up, and I'm ready to go. The scrimmage before the first playoff game was intense. Katie decided to hold it for us. Told us we need to set the tone and figure out how we gonna come out aggressive in this playoff run. Look, it's a bunch of rookies on his team, guys that's never been in the playoffs before. KD, he knows that. DeMar, he knows that too, but the fact of the matter is, KD said he only getting older. He not getting any younger. And this opportunity only comes once in a lifetime for a lot of guys, so why waste it? We the 5th seed in the East, which means we're going against the 4th seed, and y'all gonna find out who that is in particular soon, but all that mattered is this practice, it was about attention to detail and confidence. We don't need any scared play out there. We need young guys being hungry and attacking the rim and attacking their closeouts and attacking their shots as if it was a regular season. No need to be starstruck, no need to be nervous. But this playoff series meant a little bit more to DeMar DeRozan. For one particular reason. Well, you guessed it right. In the first round of the playoffs, 2026 finds us up in the North, playing a familiar foe to him and us, the Toronto Raptors. Now look, it's been about 8 years since DeMar DeRozan was traded from the Raptors, and at this point in his career, he doesn't have the superstar ability to just take over a game and dominate a series. Maybe he does, but regardless, we're gonna be here for him. Make sure he gets that get back the proper way. And as far as my regular season went, here's my official stats. I know you guys see the 22.5 points and even the 8.5 rebounds, which is really me almost averaging 2 steals. That has me excited. Nonetheless, that means nothing. Everything's 0-0-0. coming into this playoff series, and it's a chance to make some new stats, some new history. The voting for the Rookie of the Year award will be announced soon, but that's none of my concern in this very moment. What's important to me is that we come out in game 1 and get a win. And Trey Johnson had that same mentality. I already knew it. My former Rising Stars teammate, the guy I've been going against since college, I knew this was going to be a dogfight. Up here in the North in the 6, we came out pretty solid. The guys were getting to their shots and the shots were falling. Just like KD was talking about in practice. Nobody looked afraid. Nobody looked timid. We ran the plays and executed them. The only problem is, so did the Raptors. And I wasn't the only rookie hooping this season. Trey Johnson was a monster. And we had to get a stop on Brandon Ingram and figure that out early too because DeMar couldn't handle him. And I had went to the bench a little early with some foul trouble. So I had to watch the team go down double digits in the first quarter. That's cool. Nothing like a 10-point comeback. That's fine. I just need to get back in the game and get a rhythm going, but it's got a little hard as some of the bench unit was struggling with the Raptors bench unit. By the time I got back in the game, I was on Trey Johnson, mano-y-mano, and bro, he got it. He was locking me up. And not only that, he'll come down and hit a 3. Hey, the Raptors had over a 15-point lead in the second quarter. And I ain't gonna lie, got a little timid, a little anxiety, a little nervousness started to set in. The Raptors kind of hit us in the mouth in this first half, and that boy DeMar couldn't find the bottom of the net. Feels the ocean. For me, I tried to get going in transition off playing defense, and it kind of worked. I found my stride. Look, I wasn't even playing that bad if we're being real, but basketball is a team sport, and if something's off in the lineup, in the rotation, and just in the chemistry just a tad, it could throw the whole operation off. So right before the first half, we tried to get some momentum. We got a 3 going by KD, cut the lead down to 12 going into halftime, and coming out the second half, we had KJ out there to help us out. And bro was hitting 3s too. And before you knew it, walk down Wizards, back in live effect. We started walking down the Raptors with 3 balls. KD was going. Hey, if KD going, that sets the tone for everybody. Defense was rolling. Alex was having the paint on lock. And in transition, KD, well, he saw red. Bro was pulling from 3 from anywhere on the court. And listen, I had to remind myself, when I was younger, I remember watching KD cook the Raptors a lot. Even when he came back from that Achilles and tried to play on it before he got hurt, he was going off. And that was the last time he played in this arena in the playoffs. So you know this meant something personal to him. And speaking of personal, you would have thought Trey Johnson was the one that had a personal vendetta against us. But regardless, this game was starting to get a little out of hand in the fourth quarter again as we narrowed the gap down to 14, but it started expanding. And Trey Johnson just would not stop being relentless. That's an example of a rookie that played like he got a chip on his shoulder every night. And DeMar DeRozan played like he got a rock on his shoulder because he couldn't find the bottom of the basket. And when Dick hit us with this corner 3 and fell out, it was just about over. The fans were all involved in the game, and I kind of felt it myself, dwindling away. You know, you can't win them all, but it would have been nice to take game 1 and steal the game and Raptors' heart. That just didn't happen. So I watched on the bench to close the game out, and we ended up losing by obviously double digits. Well, I didn't have a bad performance. There's no I in team. There is a me in team, but nah, that's not the point. The point is that we need to figure out what we did wrong in this game so we can avoid it in game 2, because losing by 30 points is outrageous. And the fact that the Raptors had so many starters in toward the end of the game was disrespectful. So KD told us that we need to take that personal. No holding back. Now look, I had 24, 8 assists and 11 rebounds, 50% from the field, and only 3 turnovers, which is good for me. But hey, the stats don't say the whole story. I was giving up a lot of buckets from Trey Johnson. And as far as KD, well, he had a great night, but he knew it could be even better. So game 2, we were determined to come out hot. Nah, we came out even worse than we did in game 1. 5 points in over 6 minutes of gameplay. Oh man, this wasn't a good look. Look, nobody wants to go down 0-1, but for sure don't want to go down 0-2. But when you're missing shots like this, and the Raptors, they just had our number. I'm talking about Trey Johnson was playing like a 10-year vet, cooking us. He might be on one of them Dwayne Wade runs from the 2000s. And KD, I remember one time looking over and just seeing him looking disgust and disappointment. Yeah, we were down 30. It was getting bad, and you know how when you lose in a fight, you start getting tapped on the back of your shoulder like, hey, you had a good run. We were losing by almost 50 points. And it was starting to feel like that. And we were on the bench arguing with each other and trying to point out what was going wrong, but had to look myself in the mirror. 9 points, 6 assists, and 8 rebounds on a terrible shooting night in game 2. So, what do? Do you sulk and cry about it? Or do you get back in the lab and figure it out with your guys, your brothers? KD galvanized us all and had us right back in the practice lab before game 3. We knew we were going to be back home and the crowd was going to be lit. That was a given. We were down 0-2, but we were not out. And we had to remind each other that, look, the Raptors, yeah, they play well, but, bro, they don't got no superstars on that team. Shout out to Brandon Ingram and Trey Johnson, but we got this. Just dial it back and take it one game, one possession, 1 minute at a time. In practice, it was me and KD leading the charge. I came out like I had a point to prove. And KJ, I got to salute him too. Bro was always ready to be on go when no matter what his number was called. He was even going at KD in practice and hitting some crazy shots. And that's when I knew we might got a chance in game 3. All it takes is one game to turn the series around. And we were determined to go get that game if it meant blood, sweat, and tears. And as we already mentioned, the place was rocking. DC was out and in full effect. And we proved them right. Start this game off, we had a double-digit lead in the first quarter. I'm talking about over 40 points scored, blitzing. The Raptors really didn't have an answer for us in the first half. And while DeMar DeRozan was still struggling from the field, he learned to start getting off the ball a little bit. And when you get off the ball a little bit, it should help your overall game. Eventually, maybe not right now. RJ Barrett, I haven't really mentioned him much this series, but he started to find his stride in this game too. And we had to be careful playing a dangerous game and not letting the Raptors come back because we for sure don't need to be down 0-3. But again, DeMar just had no rhythm, no nothing. We tried to help him out against his former team and get him some highlights, but it just wasn't working early. KJ had dick on him and he started taking him all the way, and KJ pulled up for this and hit it. KJ had his confidence through the roof in this series, and it is exactly what we needed for DeMar's lack of offense. And for me, well, y'all know I had to make up for the poor performance I had last game. 2 of 11, outrageous. That's not cutting it. Under 10 points, ridiculous. So we were up by double digits. No, scratch that. We were up by 20 going into the second half. While I'm at the free throw line, I couldn't help but think, it's cool, but leads fade in the NBA. We got to keep the momentum up. Just like I mentioned, the Raptors, they cut the lead all the way down. I'm talking a major comeback in the second half, down to a 1-point game. And now we're in danger of going down 0-3 if we don't get it together. So on offense, we went back to our guy, KD. And he had an off night, if I must say so myself. But eventually he got it going. And in the second half, it was a lot of Trey Johnson on a lot of Bub. And it's a lot of buckets being given out. For me, I found myself often spreading the floor and not really being as aggressive I wanted to in the second half as I was in the first. And I ain't gonna lie, the Raptors ended up taking a 1-point lead at one point. And it started to get a little tight in the arena, a little nervousness, a little anxiety, as I mentioned in game 1. The Raptors got an and 1 off Emmanuel quickly, and hey, you have to admit, they had a lot of guards. Fast, shifty, sneaky, and can get buckets. But we got bucket getters on our team too. And what did the great players do? When things get a little out of hand, they help reel it back in. I might have to start considering Trey Johnson a great player because he did the same thing for the Raptors. Just when KD hit a 3 for us to get the lead, Trey got it right back over my hand, and I couldn't do nothing but jog back on offense and assume my position in the corner. It was a 1-point game. We had a 1-point lead late in this game, and I decided, you know what? Let me find my guy KD, but finally being aggressive and attacking the rim first, setting up a wide open shot. KD gave us a 1-point lead, and guess what? BI came right back and answered with a mid-range bucket to get a Raptors a 1-point lead. With a minute on the clock, KD's decided to slow it down a tad, get into his rhythm, hit his signature size ups. And I didn't know what decision he was going to make here. So everybody just tries to stay ready when KD has the ball, and he wasn't getting free at first. Matter of fact, he was getting boxed. Put up a bad shot over Scotty Barnes, and we still down 1, but guess who makes a big play? Alex Sarr pokes it from Scotty Barnes in transition and finishes through contact to put us right back up 1 under 40 seconds left in the ball game. Tight game, big time players step up in big time moments, and so far in this game I had 26, 2 and 5. Was it the greatest night? Absolutely not, but shoot, it was better than 2 and 11, and I only had 1 turnover. And at this time, we got the ball right back with about 30 seconds left. The Raptors failed to score, and now we got a chance to ice the game. The ball is in the hands of our best player, with about over 20 seconds left in this game and the clock ticking down. I was surprised he found me in the corner, and I pump faked the 3, tacked the glass, and gave us a 3-point lead with about 20 seconds left. The Raptors would come back down court. Brandon Ingram tried to get a bucket over me and failed. Just like that, it turned into the foul game, and you know how that went. I ended up making my free throws, and we ended up going ahead and securing game 3, avoiding a 3-0 deficit and giving the fans what they wanted and needed, a home victory. The job is just now getting started, far from finished. My first playoff victory under my belt. We had to come right back home and try to get game 4 too, and I came out a little rusty, a little sloppy, but the team overall was focused. KD in the corner for 3 early on, and I got my guy Alex Sarr finally involved with some lobs and loosening it up. The team energy was peaking. It was starting to get back to the way it was when we were on that 14-game win streak. Bub, well, he was getting to anything he wanted, finishing through Dick right here and getting the lay. And as for me, well, I was facilitating a little more than I did some points in the regular season. Y'all saw my assist numbers drop to 5.5 assists a game for a reason. Wasn't much need of it. I was an aggressive scorer at this point. And in the playoffs, I'm just doing what the team needs. And speaking of that, that's exactly what my boy KJ is doing. He's taking the defensive initiative of guarding one of their best premier scorers in RJ Barrett. And off the miss, not only did he play great defense, but he pushes in a transition right here. He finds me, and I find him back in the corner for the 3. Beauty. You couldn't have drew it up any better for a rookie like that. The fans were beside themselves. The Washington Wizards, yes, the district. We have a team that is figuring it out, slowly but surely. Maybe not that slow at all. And in game 4, we had the Raptors on ice. Look, we didn't want to go down 0-3 last game, for sure. But now, I don't know if the Raptors want to risk having a tied series with the momentum in our favor. So, they started fighting back in this game. The lead was in double digits for majority of this game, and in the second half, they tried to cut it down below. But we had guys clicking on all cylinders like KJ. Difference maker for real. 10-point game with under a minute left. It was only one way to close this out properly. Mid-range. Give me the ball. I got it. This game is over. This series is tied. I dribbled out the clock. The fans celebrated and cheered in the background. And is this a low sportsmanship moment right here? I pulled a shot late in the game, the shot clock down, and still celebrated. I don't know why, but I don't like the way the Raptors was talking in between the lines, but y'all don't got to know about that. Only I do, and we do. And in this game in particular, I finished with 35 points, 8 assists, and 13 rebounds. Best games of my career overall. Playoff career high, obviously. And the fans of Washington will send us off to Toronto in the tie series with some motivation, momentum, and hope. And we assure them that this wasn't a fluke. We got one more to get on the road, and we'll be right back home to close this series out. But for tonight, we celebrate the victory. And I walk off the court knowing that, hey, I'm 2 games away from advancing in the playoffs. But I'm not done and satisfied yet. I look over to my left and see KD with a mean mug. He didn't even have a great game himself. I had the best game of the night. Game 5, we came out sloppy. I really thought we was going to come out and bust the Raptors in their mouth and keep the momentum going, but see, momentum is a strange thing. A lot of people believe it doesn't exist. And I don't disagree or agree. I just feel neutral about it at this very moment. But in this game in particular, it was a little back and forth. Both teams was a little sloppy. I mean, you got to understand, it's a game 5 of a pivotal series. Chance to advance to the next round. The winner of game 5s usually go on to win the series a good number of the time. And nobody wants to have to fight from down 3-2 to win a series. So it was a tight, pretty close ball game for the majority, especially in the first half. And both teams had spurts where we found our rhythm, and they did too. RJ Barrett finally stepped up in the series, and he almost provided a huge difference for his team. His scoring was countering off some of KJ's effect. But DeMar finally, and I mean finally, bro, could not still find the basket. I know y'all thought I was going to say he was hitting his shots. Nah, the man was struggling horrendously. But who wasn't was the Rook, bro. This man Trey was showing me up low-key. I obviously had a 35-point game 4, but overall in the series, that man Trey has been the motor and the engine for the Raptors. And I can't argue that. In transition, B.I. gets a dunk, and the Raptors are starting to find their momentum and rhythm. There go that word again. So KD noticed it and had us call a timeout and get it together second half. We did just that. Well, the team did. I struggled. We were down 7. Not a lot, not a big lead. But if it gets out of hand, then it can stretch. Speaking of stretch, this man Trey Johnson stretched his arms over my outstretched arms and still got the basket. The Raptors were starting to grow the lead in the second half, and here we go, we playing with fire, we playing with danger. Nobody wants to have to go to a game 7, and finally DeMar DeRozan got a bucket to go. And maybe that's what we needed to see. The Raptors were still attacking the basket and still getting things to go, but maybe DeMar just needed one to go to unlock his game, and he was starting to get it rolling in that second half. It was a sight for sore eyes. I mean, I'm talking about, I didn't think it was possible, but my boy was getting cooking. And the Raptors, yeah, they could score too, but before you knew it, we cut this lead down to single digits and really a 1-point game. And in transition, who else were we going to try to find? DeMar DeRozan. He would attack the basket and get that and one in transition. And my boy was so humble, he tried to hide that excitement, but just know we was hyped for him. He gave us a 1-point lead in the third quarter. And for all the struggles and slack he's caught, it was only right that we had to close this game out for him. It didn't help that my boy Bub got absolutely fried by RJ Barrett right there on offense and got an easy bucket in the fourth quarter. Well, we knew he was going to have to buckle up. Early on, the Raptors got it going, and I was on the bench watching, me and KD, itching. I was smiling because I knew exactly what I was going to do when I came back in the game. But KD, on the other hand, said, hey, put us back in around the 9-minute mark so we can go to work. DeMar, we were trying to see if his hot streak continued, and he did cool off a little bit. And that's when we knew it was time for us to get right back in that game and take over. So like we said, just under 9 minutes, me and KD at the scorers table. Dynamic duo, perhaps. 2 killers. Down 7. Game 5. 1 mission. We checked into the game and I don't know. It's like we heard the crowd do a collective gasp. The game was still close enough to where all it took was a little run and the game would be ours again. So it starts on defense, and RJ Barrett was having a phenomenal game. I can't lie. So KD immediately wasted no time. Got into a size up at the top of the key, and like Cash Nasty, wet like water, top of the key. That gave us all the spark we needed. I'm finding KD every time I want to down court. 8 minutes go by. Find him again for 3. And the Raptors fans were starting to feel it, starting to notice the energy shift. When KD gets to going from the 3-point line and start shooting over arms and bodies, it starts to get wicked, no matter what the Raptors do on offense. And right here is when I knew that it was about that time. That man KD got to the mid-range fade, and before you look up, it was a 2-point game. And we still had 7 minutes to go. And I was starting to get my feet together, but then I started sliding. This man Trey Cook, I have to cut it out. I have to lock in on D. But on offense, I had him running around screens like people do against Steph Curry. But I ain't Steph. I can't shoot like him, but what I can do is a finish at the lane with my left over the contact. And shout out to Trey for reaching in, allowing me to get the easy layup. 1-point game with about 5.5 minutes left. Take it slow. Be smart. Get the shots we want. And I had a wide open mid-range shot, sure. I saw my guy Bub itching, waiting, ready to shoot. And he buried it. Gave us the lead. And right then and there, timeout was called from the Raptors as the momentum was in our favor. We went back to the bench and everybody was hyped, but KD was telling everybody to chill. We got to lock back in on D. And get the stops, get the boards, get the buckets. Well, we got the stop. We got the board. And as far as the bucket, well, this was crazy. This man KD pulled with contact on his hip, sprayed it, kissed the crowd with 4 minutes left, and I ain't gonna lie, it might have been a kiss of death. I had Trey Johnson on me. He gave me the confidence to go up over Trey and get my bucket too. And I kissed the crowd and strutted back. And before you knew it, we had 120 to the Raptors 115, and it wasn't over yet. Alex Sarr was open in the corner for 3. Walked it down, gave us the lead of 8, and the fans, dead silent. It was giving bubble vibes, except the artificial noise was louder than the fans. The Raptors, well, they tried their hardest to get back into this game that they let slip. But once we took it, no giving back. No takesies backsies. As KD put the nail in the coffin by just pulling up for 3 casually. In transition, time on the shot clock, didn't matter. And he hit a signature this guy point. And growing up, I always watched the best players' highlights on YouTube and got motivation. But it's one thing seeing it on YouTube and on your screen, but it's another being in the presence of a real-life assassin. KD came into Toronto with one mission, not to come back, and he dropped 36 tonight. As for me, well, I was a certified wingman. I had 37 and 11 myself, but guess what? My favorite stat, 0 turnovers. Very efficient. I didn't give the ball back to the Raptors at all. And as far as our mission tonight, we'll take a look at the Raptors fans and you tell me what happened. Sad, despair, reality's hitting. They might not see their team again until the 2026-27 season. And our mission was to make sure that happens. We walked out of this arena tonight victorious, and we headed back home to the district with one goal in mind, to send the Raptors home for good. But as I said earlier, with a gnat, you got to kill it with a sledgehammer. We had to make sure the Raptors had no choice but to go home safely and surely. So early on in this game, we came out like gangbusters. And as for Trey Johnson, there was just no stopping him this series. We have to admit that. I have to admit it. While he wasn't in the running for the Rookie of the Year race particularly, hey, if you ask me, he might have had just as good of a series as I did, but ultimately, it's no iron team, as I said earlier. And we had the Raptors arguing with each other, rookies and vets. And there's starting to be some doubt on their team. I could hear it. And from the outside looking in, look, B.I. is one of my favorite players, but he's never really led a team through the playoffs as the main guy. In this series, it proves that you need a main guy or two. Do I consider myself a main guy? Well, mainly, yes. Maybe this series is proof of that. As far as the team goes, we had everything you wanted to have tonight. Defense, all guys was locked and dialed in, starting with Alex Sarr in the paint. Offense, well, no question. As far as the Raptors, they were missing wide open layups, and we were on the bench having a good time watching our bench secure the dub for us and close this series out in style. Same way the series started, it's how it's ending. A 30-point blowout, but this time we on the winning end. I had another 30 ball, 35 and 5, 5 turnovers. A lot of 5s out there tonight, but this series is over in 6. And my first playoff series, it's under my belt. But you could tell by the look on the guys' faces on the bench, while we were happy and excited to watch our bench guys go crazy. In particular, seeing KJ run up his stats. That was fun to see. Not only KJ, but Ryu also got off too. Pete, he had an isolation. I've been told y'all, bro, he sees nobody in front of him. He tries to go at anybody, no matter the size or your legend status. And he went straight through Emmanuel quickly and finished with the reverse lay. This game was all but over, but it was important that our bench unit got the confidence up. We need everybody on one accord going into our next series. And the fans celebrated as they sent us off to the Eastern Conference semifinals to face a familiar foe. We're here in the Eastern Conference semifinals, back in the big city of New York, Manhattan, Times Square, Madison Square Garden. We playing the New York Knicks in the second round. And while normally you would favor the New York Knicks any day of the week, a team that had just been in the conference finals and really got a lot to prove this year, a lot on the line, a lot of veterans and good players, great players, matter of fact, and a big crowd. I guess a young team like us with one superstar for sure, but young guys in every position? Nah, the Knicks got this. Jalen Brunson, Cat, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, that's too much for Washington, man. Y'all had a good run. I get it. But tonight, starting in game 1, the atmosphere was completely different for one reason, and we'll get to that. But the guys, y'all already know. Me, KD headline our team. 2 amigos, the captains. As far as the New York Knicks, well, y'all pretty much know them too. Mikal Bridges, Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, these are guys that we've been playing all season. We've had some classic games with. There's one particular wrinkle that makes this series completely, entirely different than you may imagine. The starting lineup is not the same. Matter of fact, you can call it luck. You can put an asterisk by this series, but their starting point guard, their captain, and their leader, the man of New York, Jalen Brunson. He had a bad leg injury during the regular season and has been out for over a month. And the Knicks still somehow secured a spot in the Eastern Conference semifinals without him. So we give him props. A lot of it had to do with the play of the former Thunder guard AJ Mitchell, but if you think I'm coming into the series taking it lightly because Jalen Brunson is not on the court, you're sadly mistaken. We are one series away from the conference finals and all of our dreams coming true. So I took the matchup against AJ Mitchell personally. Like, man, Jalen, this is supposed to be for you. So I'm going to give him buckets. I ain't say all that on the court, obviously, bro. I'm focused. But in my mind, that was my mindset. As far as the Knicks goes, well, I got to give them some credit. The vets on offense, they were fighting. Look, the Knicks have always had a stigma that their offense was primarily centered around Jalen Brunson holding the ball for like 15 seconds and 20 seconds and then making a play. So without him, it kind of gave the other guys a chance to see what they could do. And while we felt like they couldn't do too much, they didn't have too many shooters or nothing, it was still a good game to start off game one. First half, we were attacking the basket. The Knicks have great perimeter defenders, so we didn't have too many opportunities to shoot threes, but thankfully, the Knicks and shooting threes were not synonymous. As far as we go when KD goes. And KD was pretty passive in this game early on. And as you can see, it wasn't boding well for us. We need him to be aggressive, but it doesn't help when they're sending double teams a lot. Eventually, Bilal got it going for us, and he's a name you haven't heard of too much recently because he had been out with injury. But he's back, right in time. And on defense, I'm diving for loose balls, fighting. I'm really playing New York-style basketball. I'm looking like Josh Hart out there, minus the bricks from the three. And as far as AJ goes, I told y'all, bro. It's just an unfortunate series for them, but we got to win. My mindset was attack, destroy, really set the tone in this series. In game one, while I was on the bench, the Knicks just continued to struggle. We finally got it going on offense in the second half, finding some rhythm. Thanks to the energy provided by some of the guys off the bench like KJ. He was attacking his matchup every time, especially when he had a guard on him. See, KJ was kind of a combo. He was a little big for the guards and kind of a little too small to be a premier forward, but it works. And while I was getting ready to check back into the game in the second half, I started to notice something. Our team, it's like we had a glow about us, like confidence, like teammates really knew that this might be our time and not to waste it. We were up basically 20 in the second half and things were not going the Knicks' way. They had me out there flexing and celebrating like this ain't the playoffs. Like I ain't a rookie. Like I'm not supposed to be here. And let me let y'all in a little secret behind my motivation. If you didn't know, well now you know. The NBA Rookie of the Year vote ballots came in and I didn't win. Cooper Flagg is your 2026 NBA Rookie of the Year. And while I said I wasn't going to take it personal at the beginning of the season, maybe I did. Look, I've been killing it out here, putting on night after night with my squad. And now, we about to take game one of the Eastern Conference semifinals. While Cooper Flagg is somewhere giving a speech about being glad to win Rookie of the Year, but I know it's eating him alive that he's not in the playoffs either. And look, he's younger than me too. I ain't even going to talk too much about him. It's about my team right now, so let me stay focused. Speaking of focus, there was nothing the Knicks to do with us in the second half. I finished the game on the bench, chilling with my guys. 25, 12 rebounds and 4 assists, but 6 turnovers is a problem. Gotta clean that up going into game 2. But game 1 was in the books, double digits. KD, as usual, reminding the guys not to be satisfied. So he came out in game 2 with aggressive mindset. He said, look, I'm gonna set the tone and the tempo of this game. We do not need to give this series away to New York. I don't even want them to get one game. First, I'm like, dang, a sweep, bro? You think we got that in us? Then I seen KD pull up for 3 in transition in this game, and I said, oh yeah, we do. We can do it. So I started getting my confidence up, spraying and praying. The Knicks, they were playing with some serious confidence in game 2, I have to admit. That man Karl-Anthony Towns, in case you did not know, is an all-star, all-NBA player. And he had the Knicks right in prime position to try to sneak away with a game 2 victory, but we stayed with it. At one point, we were down 18 points in the third quarter, and it really was looking dark. But the nickname I gave us stays true. Walk down Wizards. No lead is safe, especially when we got the 3 ball going. In transition, I found the corner, the ball found me, and I found the bottom of the net. In Madison Square Garden, which was once loud and rowdy and everything you wanted to be, turned quiet once I hit that 3. And I walked right past Mikal Bridges like, yeah, we here. No lead is safe. The Knicks should know that. 6-point game with 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and we getting it out in transition, telling the Knicks to get it out the net. Yeah, we've been down most of the game. That's true. I know y'all haven't seen much Knicks highlights. I'm sorry, but Karl-Anthony Towns, yes, he was frying us. Look, he was getting in the paint. We had to send a double. He was finding the right reads, doing the right thing. The Knicks were playing good basketball. I'm not here to take away from that. But what I am to take away from is the lead. It's down to 2. And on defense, we finally got a stop on Cat. And in transition, 2-point game, What do? Well, I slow it down a little bit. I got AJ Mitchell on me. I tried to call for a screen. It didn't work. So I just ended up passing to KD, the lifeline. He passed it back to me. I passed it back to him like, bro, shoot it. He said, I bet. Bang. 3-point lead. 1 minute left. And it's starting to get a little dark for the Knicks fans. And they couldn't score on offense. So we decided we were going to double it up. I kick it out to DeMar and DeRozan from the corner 3. And he hit it. Yeah, I said his name like that for no reason. But just know, my boy hit the 3 and had us all hyped, celebrating. It was starting to get a little wicked for the Knicks out there. I ain't gonna hold you. But let's not celebrate too early. Oh, never mind. Lapse in judgment. Alex Sark came back for the help side block, and in transition, across the Knicks logo I go. Decision to make. What do I do? No decision needed. I pull up for the mid-range shot, extend the lead. With about a minute left, the Knicks call timeout. Cat, sorry, bro. 3-point lead, under a minute left though. Let me stay focused. Let's stay calm. Let's stay in the moment. We got to close this game out and make sure the Knicks do not get back up. Meanwhile, I'm over here looking at the crowd point, talking about focus. The Knicks fans was on the edge of their seats, literally. Popcorn in hand, ready to spill it. We had the ball back with about 45 seconds left in the 3-point game and a chance to extend the lead and send them home. I throw the lob to nobody, to Mikal Bridges, matter of fact. Bad decision. In transition, Mikal Bridges finds OG, pump fakes the 3, and with 30 seconds left, he has a chance to cut this lead down. He finds his guy Josh Hart. The Knicks, hey, 1-point game with 30 seconds left on the clock. We have to make a bucket here to secure this game. And what do? We give the ball to our best player, mano-a-mano with Josh Hart, the best defender. Shot clock winding down under 10 seconds on the game clock. KD just steps back and pulls for 3, and he missed it. Much to everybody's surprise on our team, he didn't really get into a shooting pocket and kind of just threw up a bad shot. And now there's about 5 seconds left in the ball game, and the Knicks got a chance to do the craziest thing. Go for the win. They just need one shot. I knew that my guy wasn't getting into AJ Mitchell, but Mikal Bridges did a similar act as KD. Step back for 3 and he bricked it. And just that easy, we got off the hook. The Knicks and Knicks fans were beside themselves. They had a chance to steal game 2 and tie the series up at 1 apiece with a good shot right there, and they missed. But now, it was dead silent. And us, well, after KD had a monster performance, I'm talking about all-time great performance. We now up 2-0 in the semifinals on the road. Now with a chance to go back home and close this series out for good. And personally, we felt like after winning that close game right there, that's got to be as close as the Knicks got to get this series. In game 3, we got to do a way better job of coming out hungry and ending even hungrier. So we did just that. Whether it was me attacking the lane and finding my guys, or KD pulling for 3, or not even to mention the locking up on defense. AJ was getting nothing on me. Game 3 was just like that. With our misses, our makes, it was all in rhythm. KJ came off the bench getting to it as well. And when KJ's going, I already said it before, it just makes everything easier so that me and KD can go to the bench comfortably because we still got scorers on the court. I will say there was one point where I was guarding Cat, and this is probably the worst moment of the playoffs for me. That boy shook me out of my spot off the block and got a layup, but I tipped my cap to him because that really had no impact on the game. My confidence was still extremely high because he wasn't guarding me on offense, and I knew who was. AJ. Shout out to my guy, but no match. No mas. Game 3, it was all us. There was nothing really much else to say. The crowd was engaged the whole game. We were putting on a performance and putting on a defensive clinic. The Knicks weren't even touching 100. In the fourth quarter, it was time to put the hammer down. The Knicks started to show some fight, but at the same time, they were missing wide open shots. And when you missing wide open shots against us this late in the game, we got closers all over the court. And then Cat, look, my guy was doing everything he could, I promise. If you're a Knicks fan, do not blame him for this loss or this series, but blame us. Yeah, the Wizards, as we took advantage of your best player not being out there. And now we got a 3-0 series lead. And while I didn't have a monster scoring performance at all, I did have a triple-double in the playoffs. I did have 5 turnovers, but who cares? We going to game 4 with a chance to end the series and go to the conference finals. So coming out in game 4, it was an opportunity for us to lay the law and to let the Knicks know, nah, this thing over with. It's no coming back. Killing the Nat with a sledgehammer. I've said that about 3 times today. But in the process of that, getting our minds still being sharp and focused. Because once we win this series, this playoffs is not over. It's really just getting started. So in this game, we made sure we shored up all the holes and gaps defensively, and on offense, just let the guys continue to build confidence, continue to get rhythm. If you were in a shooting slump, keep shooting. If you had the hot hand, keep shooting. If you felt like you had the open guy, swing the rock. And the fans could do nothing but stand up and enjoy it. And now the Knicks, they tried to show some real fight at the end of this game. It was game 4, and nobody likes getting swept, no matter if you were supposed to or not. So in a tight game down the stretch, KD hit some big time shots and a dagger from deep. Gave us an 11-point lead with basically under a minute left in the ball game, and it was sayonara, arrivederci, good riddance. KD was that guy during this series, and he was on a legendary run. And as for Jalen Brunson, well, shout out to my guy, but I felt bad for him a little bit. He could only watch his team get tortured and tormented by us in a sweep. I got to dribble out the ball on the clock, and just like that, the Washington Wizards, for the first time in who knows how long, are headed to the Eastern Conference Finals with a chance to compete for a championship. This is the moment you dream of. The crowd, the fans, the district, everybody knows what's at stake. Everybody knew how much work we put in this season and how unexpected it was. It's like we're riding a Cinderella run right now and we don't want to wake up. I finished game 4 with 22 and 14 rebounds and had a pretty efficient night. Our next opponent is fully healthy and not to be taken lightly.
Yo, Lee, we here, bro. I know you probably locking in for game 1. Just know the fam gonna be right there watching every game. Look, I know you don't need my advice, but I've been watching the Hawks all year. I know Trey's scouting report. He gonna abuse the pick and roll, and if the big is in drop coverage, it's either a floater or a lob to Big O every time. I say, don't switch, fight over the screen, and force Trey to beat you off the dribble or give it up on offense. Attack him every time until he gets in foul trouble. You got this, bro. All out. And can I borrow your Mazda for prom?
There goes my little brother again, who called me right before the series started while I was out joyriding DeMar DeRozan's sports car, getting my mind right. And like he said, we got a tough opponent in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Atlanta Hawks, who, much to a lot of people's surprise, had a major bounce-back season. But it all starts with Trae Young. And for me, well, I missed out on Jalen Brunson in the semifinals. A lot of people believe if Jalen Brunson played, that series could have been different. But we're not here for ifs, ands, or maybes. The reality is I got to keep up with number 11 in white and red. And as far as the Hawks go, well, they're a well-oiled machine right now. If you didn't know, well, during the regular season, they're the one team that we couldn't figure out. As a matter of fact, there was that one game where we lost by over 30 points on the road. In game 1, it started to look that way early. I was trying my hardest to keep up with Trey on these pick and rolls like my brother taught me. Stay with him, but he threw that lob every time no matter who was down there in the paint. And as far as our offense, well, we were trying to keep stride for stride too. We weren't trying to get that blowout treatment that we've been used to getting, but again, I was just having a hard time keeping up with him on these screens. My hip was getting clipped almost every single time, and Trey, well, he didn't want to miss the wide open threes this game, so I knew I was going to have to fight over the screens to get a hand up. And as far as defense, well, they have Dyson Daniels, the steals leader, one of the best players on defense in the NBA. Defensive player of the year, if you ask me. And for the Hawks, they got off to an amazing start. They had a nice starting lineup and an even better bench. And between those two factors, we're going to have our hands full if we want to even think about getting to the finals, because in game 1, we found ourselves down almost 20 points in the fourth quarter late. And Trae Young sent us off with an L in game 1. Game 1 was over, and game 2 was here, and it started off with me getting crossed over and almost finished on, but thanks to the help defense, we found ourselves competing this time around. In the first half of last game, it was close too, so what's the difference this time around? Well, for one, I got to stop throwing turnovers. The turnovers cost us last game, and I threw one early on in this game, and the Hawks have great transition. Same thing with the Hawks is they have size in almost every position except point guard, but what Trey lacks in size, he makes up for it in game. Early on in this game, though, it was KJ finally getting it going to start this conference finals off for us, and our bench unit was trying to keep up with theirs. Bub was going to be huge for us this series. Look, I was going to get mine, but if Bub can get his too, and the guys on our bench contribute, and outplay their bench, we really have a good shot. And as far as game 2 goes, well, we had a lead going into the fourth quarter. But I'll admit, for the majority of this series, the Hawks put Dyson Daniels on me. The lockdown. And I struggled. So we relied heavily on KD to get us going on offense in the fourth quarters, where I struggled and lacked. And while I was frustrated, upset, at the end of the day, I finished with 17, 8, and 4 in game 2. But most importantly, we walked out of there with a tied series, 1 apiece. And I'm a team guy first, so in the next practice, I just worked out the kinks. I told the defense to guard me as tight as possible, but that didn't work. See, Dyson was a unique defender. He has great hands, great feet, great stamina. Nobody in our practice could really mimic that, so I kind of took out all of my frustrations on playing defense myself. I'm trying to get ready for Trae Young. I told Bub, don't take it personal, but I gotta play like this and emulate it on the game. So when game 3 rolled around, I felt like I had a way better start. My legs felt way fresher, my mind way clearer, and I was up on Trae for the majority, not even waiting for the screen, but I got caught reaching early. That's okay. I'm here. Trae can get that off. That's cool. That's fine. But I got to set the tone one way or another. And on offense, anytime Trae Young was accidentally guarding me, I made him pay for it intentionally. And on defense, anytime I got caught slipping on the screen, he was going to make me pay for it. So it was mano y mano. I attack the basket, I'll raise you one. If Trae shoots a 3, well, guess what, Trae? I can shoot 3s too. So get a hand up, because it's going up too. Game 3, I had a way, way better performance than I had in games 1 and 2 combined. But the game wasn't over yet. My job wasn't complete, as on defense, I was expending a lot of energy trying to guard up on Trae. But thankfully, I drank a lot of electrolytes before the game started, did a lot of stretching, and was mentally prepared, as in the first half, we came out and blitzed the Hawks, going up by over 15 points eventually in the first half, and really making a statement that, yeah, we trying to go to the finals too, bro. Not just y'all. I threw a lob to Alex Sarr, and the crowd erupted. The energy was super high in game 3 for us. See, the district's been waiting on this for a long time, and they not here to let it pass by. As far as Trae, well, hey, he could get to the basket if he wants to, but it's closed. And as far as I go, in transition, like I said, anytime Trae Young had the audacity to match up with me, we made him pay. And that was the mantra for any guy on offense on our team. Anytime Trae is on you, attack. And that's exactly how I operated in game 3. Monster game for myself to the point where they had to start reaching in and fouling me as often as they could. Had me smiling and cheesing out there. And KD, well, it wasn't even his night. Believe it or not, a playoff game where KD doesn't have a monster performance and the Washington Wizards can still win? Well, we get into the fourth quarter, and it wasn't Trae time just yet. The Hawks was fighting back. Matter of fact, they ended up taking the lead on us because of the other guys. But thankfully enough, our defense on Trae was so strong. But the fact of the matter is, they had guys hitting clutch shots like Dyson Daniels hitting 3s. So the game was very much nip and tuck back and forth in the fourth quarter. And I hit a scoop layup to give us a 1-point lead, 127-126 with about 45 seconds to go. And while I wanted to celebrate, I caught myself. I looked up and realized the implications. I got to lock back in on defense. And sure enough, Trae tried to take it all the way to the basket, pretty selfishly, ironically, and he missed the lay. So it's on me. Ball in my hands. KD not having a great night. Let me take control. 15 seconds on the shot clock, 25 on the game clock. And while I'm to go ISO, I say, you know what, let me get the ball to the best player no matter what kind of night he's having. And sure enough, he got open off a screen. When everybody thought he was going up for the mid-range, he passed it to Alex, who throws it away trying to get it to me. And in transition, Dyson Daniels, who else, steals the ball and finishes with a dunk to give the Hawks a 1-point lead and blew our whole operation up. Now the tables turn back once again. We're down 1 with a little over 10 seconds left in the ball game. Now we have some options. Do we go for a quick shot, and if we miss, we foul and stay in the live? Or do we wind the clock down and go for the win? And as a matter of fact, who does the ball go to? Well, in my head, the ball goes to me, and I'll make the decision, since KD didn't know what to do with it last time. But greater heads prevail, so we kept the ball in KD's hands, and the crowd didn't know what to expect. He's missed his last 2 game-winning attempts, and he's letting the clock go all the way down again. So we living and dying with his shot. And the ball went up, and the buzzer rang. And it's like the whole world went still. Game 3 on the line. Seesaw. KD pulled up for a deep 2 for the win. And he hit it. Why would I have any doubt? And one of the greatest scorers of all time, number 7, now wearing his hometown jersey, putting on for his hometown team, Kevin Durant. Yes, the man who struggled all night, pulled back, took the clock down and hit the game-winning shot, and told everybody who doubted to be quiet, looking straight through the camera. And Game 3 was ours. And while we didn't win the series and we're not going to the finals just yet, this is a huge game to win, to give us control of the series 2-1, but we all know we got to come right back in Game 4 and protect home court once again. And this series is far from over. So Game 4 was important that we came out and set the tone. And KD, he put the bad shooting night aside from last night, just like great scores, come back, get to the same lanes a little bit quicker, and finish. And as for me, well, I tried to capitalize on my night from yesterday, but at the same time, play within the offense. So I gave it up, got it back, used the screen, had Trae Young on me, and you guys know what the mantra is. Go right at number 11, through his chest in the jersey, no excuses. When Bub got him, he attacked. When KD got him, he attacked. It's basketball 1-on-1. Coaches always tell you, when you got a weak defender on the court, don't hide him. Bring him out. Find him. Seek him. One thing we weren't prepared for is the offense of Dyson Daniels and the rest of these Hawks guards too. No matter how much we had Trae under lock and key, and no matter how much I was fighting over screens and getting buckets, the Hawks still found themselves within the games in the fourth quarter, and that's all it took. They would hit timely threes late in the game to keep themselves alive, and it was up to us to keep the pressure going. So I attacked the basket, kick it out to KD for 3. Bang. With a little under 4 minutes left in the game, clutch time shots from big time players. As for me, well, I'm just doing my job, ladies and gentlemen. Don't mind me. We got a chance to go up 3-1 and make ourselves one win away from the NBA Finals. The illustrious Larry O'Brien. And as Trae Young missed the clutch shot right there, the ball was in my hands. Late in the game situations, what do? Well, I had Dyson on me, so I gave it to Bub. And I said, go at Trae. And he hit him with a nasty cross, had Trae touching the floor like he was doing a suicide in practice. And after that, it was all but curtains. I found my guy Alex for the lob, and the city, the district, the state. Everybody in DC was on their feet and at this game, watching their team go up 3-1 in the Eastern Conference Finals. And after a really solid performance from myself, I couldn't help but turn on the TV when I got back home and see, man, who could we be facing on the other side if we do get to the finals? And much to everybody's surprise, Kyrie Irving, without Luka Doncic, but with Anthony Davis and company, are right here taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder. And matter of fact, they're up 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals. And they also have a chance like us to close it out in Game 5. And with Game 5 here, we got one objective. We're not going back to DC until the NBA Finals. But the Hawks had another change of plans. They said, we gonna play this Game 5 and come right back for Game 7 in a matter of a few days. And for me, well, the fix was in. I'm joking, but they had me in foul trouble all first half and a lot of the third quarter too. So the Hawks had a great start in the first half, and in the second half it continued. See, even by the time I got back on the court, I had no offensive rhythm. And I'll tell you guys right now, the Hawks would end up blitzing us this game, but the worst thing wasn't even the loss that happened. Something else happened that was far worse.
This just in what no Wizards fan or NBA fan wanted to hear, it is feared that Kevin Durant may miss the remainder of the postseason with a stress fracture in his right foot. This is the same foot that Durant tore his Achilles tendon during the 2019 NBA playoffs while with the Golden State Warriors. While he still believes he can come back for a Game 7 of the finals, the Wizards will still have to beat the Hawks one more time, but now without their superstar and leader.
The worst news hit at the end of Game 5. KD left the court early, even while we were getting blown out. He landed wrong on his foot, and while we weren't sure it was an Achilles, turns out it was a stress fracture. He just couldn't go on it. And our guy, our leader, our superstar, the hometown hero, the man who hit all the clutch shots for us in this playoff stretch, is no longer on the court. In our lineup tonight for Game 6, we put J.D. Gibson in, a rookie. But he had big shoes to fill, as Easy money sniper is at the end of our bench in street clothes. Series is far from over now. We one win away, but the Hawks don't even see it like that. They see blood in the water. Just like we took over the Knicks series when JB was out, well, the Hawks got the same intentions. But this time they only need 2 wins. And they came out and hit us hard. And the unfortunate part is guys like DeMar DeRozan feel like it's in their hands to try to take over the game and hit big time shots, but he couldn't get his offense going either. So it's going to really be up to me and the young guys to take control and win this series. And while we fully are capable, the Hawks just had a way better mentality coming into this game, as the news with KD hit us a little too hard. Jalen Johnson was getting free in the paint without having to worry about KD's presence. And on offense, well, I still had it going myself. Don't get it twisted. Matter of fact, I had a really good game in Game 6. I was getting to the basket, tacking, dunking, playing way more aggressive. I got the picture. Just because KD's out, don't mean we got to sit back and get beat. But my teammates, not everybody was on the same page. And in the fourth quarter, the Hawks had a double-digit lead on us, and we couldn't close the game out right. There was no longer number 7 to kick out for the 3, transition. Instead, it was the Hawks wings getting easy shots and finding easy baskets, and we ended up losing this game by over 15 points. And Trae Young and the Hawks, well, yeah, he took a bow on us, almost disrespectfully, waved to the crowd as if he knew they weren't going to see us again, since it's going back to Game 7, and they had one intention. Oh yeah, I did drop 37 points, I told you. But there's nothing to celebrate. We got a Game 7 on our hands. And all the moments this season, from the highs to the lows, back to the highs again, it all comes to this. My rookie season could be complete with a finals. But I'm 1 win away. And I got a job to do. If I'm everything that I think I am, and my team is everything that I think we are, KD or not, we can come into Atlanta, my hometown, full circle, and get it done. And look, I don't care how many times Jalen Johnson wears no shirt in pregame to try to be intimidated. We here and we ready. I'm going to galvanize my guys to come out here and be ready for war. And as for Trae Young, well, he felt like he wanted to get the magic started early. And while I was on him, I ran into Big O, then I ran into Jalen Johnson. Next thing you know, Trae Young was open for 3 and started the game off like that. I said, okay, bet. No more KD to worry about getting going on offense. It starts with me. So I had Trae Young on me. For some odd reason, they forgot to switch. I passed it off initially. And oh yeah, KJ Turner's now in the starting lineup. We switched it up a little bit. We got KJ and Bub out there with me in the backcourt, and Bilal and Alex in the front court. We were going to try to pull it all together and get this team to the NBA Finals one way or another. I started off the game with some free throws to get my game going, see the ball go through the rim, and give my guys some confidence. That's all we need right now, man. We need to see the ball go in the basket and get some momentum, but when I'm turning the ball over like a rook, that doesn't help. And in transition, the Hawks are nearly unstoppable. Even though they tried to be stoppable right here, Big O got the offensive rebound again and kicked it out to Zach, and he buried a 3. And the Hawks were off to a lead as usual. And I tried to go at Trae Young right here and establish the presence. They ended up sending a triple team at me, and I lost the ball, got it poked, and one of their rookies off the bench came in and slammed it. And it was starting to get a little dark for us in the first quarter. Down 10, of course. It was almost like we spawned in down 10. And DeMar, he couldn't hit a rock into an ocean still, brick by brick. Me and Bub were on the sidelines watching the bench unit go in the game and trying to just figure out how we can attack this team and get ourselves back in this ball game. And then it clicked. It's just basketball. No need to overthink it. We've had a long season, yes. We're super young, indeed. The Hawks are a well-oiled machine, sure. They got great defenders and great shooters, and they're at home. All the odds are against us, not to mention that one of the best players of all time who happens to play for us is over there in a suit and tie. And we missing shots. Everything has seemed to point the other direction for us. And close out the first half, we found ourselves down over 20 points. KD, it was hard for him to watch. He even started playing with his foot, seeing if he can just be Superman and throw on a jersey, but we knew that wasn't happening. And it shouldn't have to. We're NBA players. We got to have pride and we hoop. There shouldn't be nothing new to it. So in the second half, I put my head down and said, what we got to lose? Be aggressive. So between me and Bub, That rim was getting beat up and bruised, and the net was too. We put pressure on the Hawks, and while the lead wasn't cut down astronomically, the Hawks were still scoring at some point, but we were scoring at a little higher rate than we were in the first half, and the lead was down to 17 now. Yeah, I know, not much of a big margin of difference, but Pete, it's the way our confidence is starting to rise, and we're getting out of transition now, starting to get a little more stops. Build, slowly, momentum. It comes fast, and we want it to leave slow. So, we started getting out, and I started attacking the basket like I had a vendetta against it, like prime Russell Westbrook. And in the fourth quarter, believe it or not, the bench unit we had was keeping up with their bench unit. My guy Ryu came in and was not seeing nothing but red. My boy said, Dyson, come here, son, and hit a 3 off a crazy size up. And hey, before you look up, it's a 12-point game. I know, still, not the greatest cutback, but brick by brick, minute by minute, inch by inch, we're going to take it all the way. And I was about to check back into the game for the fourth quarter to try to get us right back in this ball game as close as possible. And I was observing and peeping the scenery, and I was trying not to mess it up. Mess up what? Nothing. I came in and got an and one, down 9 now, with a free throw to make it an 8-point game. 3 minutes left in this ball game. We had one job, is to continue to get stops and finish in transition. And I was running like my life depended on it. Like I was fighting for a roster spot. The Hawks were obviously not going to lay down and let us come back. The nice stop to Big O, 3 minutes in the clock, we back down 12 again, and it was starting to be a reality. Man, all the hard work we did this season, do we want to let it fold and just give up down 12? No. So Bub attacked the basket, cut it to 10. We got some stops, and I finished in the hole through contact, through a number and myriad of defenders. Cut it to a single-digit game, but the clock was not slowing down for no man. So Bub found me in the corner for a 3, under a minute to go. Huge 3. Cut the lead down to 6. 134 to 140, with 45 seconds left on the game. While I celebrated a little bit, there was no time to celebrate. I know y'all just saw me hit this 3, but I want to show you one more time, because notice the confidence I had to shoot over Dyson Daniels. Maybe that's neither here or there, though. Maybe that's important. Next possession, we get a stop, and Bub just straight up pulls for a 3 with all the balls in the world. And next thing you know, it's a 1-possession game with less than 30 seconds left. Unfortunately, we did end up giving up a 2-pointer, and now the lead was 5. We got the ball back, down 5, with enough time on the clock to make something happen, 30 seconds. So I had the ball in the corner, and once again, I decided to shoot right over Dyson and buried it. Now a 2-point game with under 20 seconds left. Now the crowd is starting to get a little anxious. All the cheers and the DJ music, it's quiet. As for us, well, we the young wizards that don't never do nothing. Less than 20 seconds left. Dyson Daniels made both his free throws. Salute to him. So now it was a 144 to 140 ball game. And the ball was in our hands to try to cut this lead down once again. And Bub was a little indecisive with the ball. We tried to run a play where I set a screen. It didn't work. I ended up just throwing up a 3, and what do you know? It went in with 7.7 seconds left on the clock. With number 7 out of the game. Just our luck, huh? Now it's a 1-possession game. 1-point game. Let me correct it. And going into a timeout, KD gave us all the confidence in the world just seeing him. And with Dyson at the line once again, he actually ended up missing one of the free throws to make it a 145-143 ball game. And now with 7 seconds, the ball is in my hands to make a play. Do I go for the win and potentially be a hero or 0? Or play safe and go for the tie? Either way, I'm keeping it. So I decided to rise up and pull for 3 over Dyson once again. And the ball is in the air. And the fate of my rookie season and the Washington Wizards season rests in this orange basketball that I just shot. From high school to dominating in college to now being a rookie and having a chance to hit the biggest shot of my career. This is what you dream of as a kid. Or is it all a dream?
Yo, Malik. Hey, yo, Malik. Dang, wake up, dude. It's first day of senior year. You can't be late.